Yo, 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 what up? Hello, hello. Good morning. How is everybody? How are we doing? Hello, hello. What is up, Whisper? Thank you for being first. OX, hello, hello. OG, what's up, dude? Marvin, what's up, dude? DS Legends, hello, hello. Wetsy, hello, hello. Zummy, thank you for the 42 months, man. Hold on, I have a feedback. Sorry, I had feedback there. Celine, hello, hello, hello. How are you? Oh my gosh, I can't even speak right. Zubby, dude, thank you for the 42 months, man. Again, I know you're family. I know you're part of the group, but thank you, buddy. There's a good quote. There's a really good quote that I want to share with you guys that I actually recently, I mean, it's something I've definitely heard before. You know what I mean? But it's something I think that echoed with me more after hearing it as of since being a content creator as well. Like I haven't heard it since being a content creator. Your friends, and I'm not trying to say none of us don't have great friends. I don't want to make it seem like that at all. But I think a quote that does kind of reflect with me a bit is like, your true friends who will support you when they become your customers, essentially. And I actually think that's true. I don't think it's a requirement, and nor should I say that that is something that, necessarily, I don't judge any of my other friends for not, subscribing to the stream or anything like that. But I will say, it does kind of it's a nice thing. So Zummy, thank you, buddy. Thank you for continually supporting us as a friend. And if you guys don't know Zummy, we know each other in real life. he's a homie. Honestly, that seems like a weird measurement. I would say maybe a few years ago I would have agreed with you. And it's not to say that I think my friends should sub to us or anything like that whatsoever. That's not what I mean at all. What I mean to say is when you're a content creator and when you start out, you need everything you can get, right? Like Marvin, you know that. You've been through that, right? And I think when you're starting a company in general, your first thought is, oh man, I hope my friends help me. You know what I mean? I hope that we can help each other and grow. And I'm talking about real life friends. I'm not talking about streamer friends or anything. I'm talking about the people that I've lived with, I've shared my life with and other things like that. And I think what I really take away from that quote more is just that you can, we all are busy. We're all are doing our things, but it is a really good friend, in my opinion, somebody who, takes their time to show support and stuff like that. So I think, I don't know, you could take it for what you want. It's not meant to be negative. It's just meant to be, above and beyond. Not everybody goes above and beyond. And I understand that, but it is nice when friends do, especially in the world that we live in today. It's very common for us to be like, oh, well, I'm too busy. Sorry. No, you're not. None of us are. None of us are that busy, But again, that's just my own perspective. Real life, all good. Just not familiar with this real life thing. I mean, to me too. I mean, it's not like I have tons of real life friends. I have 4. So maybe that's part of it as well. Maybe it's just a smaller picking for me. But morning, BG, doing great. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, buddy. Mr. Kappa, how are you? How are you as well? I like that one video of that weird dude dancing alone, and it took 2 other people. Yeah, so I think that's really all I mean to say, is especially when you're new to streaming and you're staring at a black void of chat, to have somebody to talk to is nice, and especially when you're just starting, it's not like you have friends on the platform, you know what I mean? Again, I'm just speaking out loud. I'm not whatever. But how are we? I hope you guys are having a good week, or at least you did have a good week. I had a busy week, Chad. I had a super busy week. There's so much that's going on right now that I'm very difficult I'm very having a difficult time sharing with you guys because a lot of it is secrets and surprises and stuff we've been really excited about. I think as a lot of you know, next week is TwitchCon. So if you guys don't know, Twitch has a yearly convention, right? Normally yearly. And actually, ironically, it is where I live in San Diego. And it's basically a time where, all Twitch streamers and content creators, as well as, viewers and fans and community members and stuff, all meet up, go to the con and hang out. And so that's going to be happening next week. That is going to be next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Next week's going to be a crazy week for us. You have no idea the plans we have for next week. It's one of the reasons why I have been gone this week. We are planning a lot for TwitchCon. We're very excited for TwitchCon. There's a lot of really cool things that we're excited about doing. And there may be a few big surprises, chat, as well. And so we've been preparing for that. We've been preparing for that most of this week, as well as, like I said, just my job and other things like that. So stay tuned for next week. Excuse me. Jeez. Seriously, a lot is, let me put it this way. There's going to be a lot. Next week, a lot's going to happen. I'm aware that we've been kind of, had our heads to the ground working these past couple months, but I'm excited for all of that work, hopefully, to pay off. So yeah, next week's going to be a big week. Next week's going to be a very, very exciting week. And I hope it all goes well so that, again, it's something we can all enjoy. But yeah, TwitchCon's next week. We will be at TwitchCon Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll be there we'll be there Thursday just to pick up our badges and stuff, potentially go to the partner party if we're going to go to that. And then Friday is a very, very busy day for us. Friday, we will be in a lot of talks. We want to go to a lot of different, panels and stuff like that. And so Friday's a pretty busy day for us. So we don't know yet if we're going to be streaming from the con. I would like to. However, it's really just going to be how well we can do it. We have been at Twitch 2019 TwitchCon. It was a lot of fun. It was our first conference we'd ever been to. We were just affiliates. We hadn't even gotten our partner yet. We were just in the beginning of our career in a lot of way. That was, again, 2019. So it's going to be pretty awesome to go back and have kind of like a homecoming of after all of this time. And I think a lot of people are really excited for that too. It's been so long that, everyone's kind of excited to be able to experience it again. So we will try and stream at the con if we can, but again, I'm not too sure on if we're going to yet or not, just because of all the other things that we have planned. Outside of that, like I said, we will be at the con. What is it? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday will probably be our best day. We have a lot of free time during the day Saturday. So if you guys are at the con and you guys want to see us, you want to hang out, let us know. We are going to be using our special role in the Discord. So if you go and join our Discord, we have a server roles section here. And so you can see here we have the Access TwitchCon role. And so this role is going to be what we're going to be sending all notifications out. We're not going to be at everyone. If we go live, we will. But we're not going to be just blasting notifications to everyone. So if you guys do want to keep up with what's going to be going at the con, be sure to check out and, add that role so that you get those notifications and stuff. But yeah, we're going to be at the con. We're going to be at the con with, a bunch of our streamer friends as well. I definitely know quite a few of our friends are going to be there this year too, which is super exciting. So yeah, I hope I get to see you guys. I really, really do. It has been far, far, far too long since we've had an opportunity to do this. So I am excited. I am very excited. Yeah. There's very few things I'd rather spend money on. BG, what you and Atoda bring so much positivity in your life. Well, thank you, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to cough like that. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's, and again, that's even crazier for me, just because you're a friend. I'm that. Thank you, man. All I can say is I'm glad that we can. Yeah, and it's really funny how we became friends more over the internet than we did in real life. I find that funny. I think it took ages before I even told friends that I was creating content, but when I started, it was still being seen as rather weird. Yeah, and I think like, even that's part of the challenge, right? Is having confidence and feeling confident that, you can share these aspirations or goals with your friends. And I can relate to that entirely. I don't always, share everything I have an idea over with my friends, but I hope that they'll support me, Oh man, what is broken? NeoVim Unwrapped is broken? Come on, bruh. Are you serious? Utils and Nix. Okay. Very true. I'm too socially awkward to do it from behind the screen, but I've gotten better at it. But that's good, man. Yeah, again, I always give you a hard time, but that's just because I love you. Happy Friday. Are we deploying? Shit? I don't know yet, Agile. I don't know yet, man. We'll see. I honestly don't know what exactly I'm doing today. Right now, I'm just talking about what's been going on with the past week. Again, I really appreciate you guys, being understanding with my schedule. I work in DevOps, dude. I work in DevOps, and on top of that, to give like complete clarity, I work at a company that I am very involved with. I don't just do like I do normal hours, 9 to 5 or whatever, but even with that, when I'm at the work job, I'm incredibly focused. That takes a lot of my time. Outside of that, we have our company, we have the stream, and we have a bunch of other stuff too. So like this last week has been really crazy on top of planning for TwitchCon. So yeah. Is it real Friday if you aren't pushing to prod? I mean, we can find something to push to prod, I guess. We do need to fix a bug. It's not really I think it's a configuration thing though. I don't think it's gonna be like a deployment. All right, let's do this really quickly. Nix packages. Oh wait, you know what? Okay, hold on. Let's see what broke. So it's just in the flake.lock. Interesting. You know what? Hold on. Let me see how long ago I updated my NeoVim stuff. When did I last update this? On 27? Oh, I updated this 3 days ago. It's fine. I don't care. I'm not gonna deal with this now. I'll give it like another few days. I do that quite often, chat, where like I upgrade like all of my packages like once a day or once every other day on Nix, and if something's broken, I'm just like, I'll give it a week. It'll hopefully be fixed by then. Hey, I wanted to ask from the previous stream, where are you with your Pulumi configs? Oh, so I need to be clear. All of that stuff is private, closed source code. And the reason for that is because it's literally also for our company. So a lot of the stuff that like I'm showing you in the moment. I don't do a lot of like take home stuff. We do have some examples on some things. And like for example, if you go to github.com, here we go. If we go here, and then I just type in like example in our Alta 4 LLC, you'll see I've got like example Docker, AKS, Nix, Argo. So like we do make example stuff, but I normally am showing more by example. You know what I mean? And then when you like while I'm doing it, honestly, a lot of the stream is catching it while we're doing it together, and me being able to explain that stuff for you. But again, if there's a scenario where I can put stuff into examples, I do. So I would just have to think on how I could put that into an example. You know what I mean? Like the example AKS cluster was a good one because we made a AKS cluster on stream, and then like, I made it with Terraform. Maybe the next one we make automation wise, we'll make with Pulumi, just because we've already got one with Terraform, and that's kind of like a good idea. I always want to ask, why do you always open up bottom? Because it's visually pretty. Compare this to this, and you tell me what you think is nicer. I'm a streamer who has to bring you into chat somehow, Sidham. And if it means that I have a pretty interesting looking display on my thumbnail, well then hey. Maybe BG is a little bit more clever. Got it. Yep, there it is. He's like, yep. Yeah, I don't need this thing open all the time. Yo, Poco Card, hello. How are you? Well, hello from San Diego, California. Just BYP top and NV top. I don't know what those are. NeoVim 8 came out today. Maybe that broke your flake. Oh, maybe. Oh no, it's not. It's not there yet. No, okay. Oh, did it really though? Well, here's the thing though. I don't know how they built. Well, no, because it would be Nix, so it'd be a completely reproducible build. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure why it's broken, but it's fine. Like I said, like Nix over NixOS overlay NeoVim. Yo, thank you for the follow. Yo, what's up, man? How's it going? Let's go to issues. Let's see. No binary, valid. Input follows non-existent. So yeah, it hasn't even been reported yet. I'm probably one of the first people who upgraded, caught it, and is being lazy and not reporting on it. Looking for a new maintainer. Oh. No way. Cran is now the NeoVim nightly maintainer. We know Cran. Cran's in our chat, guys. I might have to ask him when that happened. That's this guy, chat. Where'd it go? There he is. See Cran? He's in our community. That's interesting. Well, now we can just bug him directly. Hell yeah. I can just bug Cran directly and be like, yo, fix it. He is everywhere. Well, I mean, again, they really are a very, very often, they are a very, very, you know, in-depth, like they're in the Nix world. Yeah, Cran is very much in the Nix world, for sure. Yeah. Right. Oh, really? Nice. Yeah, I think he jumps around from a few different communities. A lot of our different, you know, a lot of our members do though. They're all like everybody's in everybody's Discord pretty much at this point. Asking again, have you used CockroachDB in prod? I have not. No, I don't know much about. The most that I know about CockroachDB is that it's made, or one of our friends works on it. A streamer friend by the name of Large Databank. And it's a shard, or it's a, you know, highly available or Postgres database essentially. that's about as much as I know. I really have not gone into too deep with it just because I've not really needed it, honestly. Do you have a need for that? Because actually I would be curious as to what your need is. That's the most is it's a horrible name. I think there is actually like a point to it. I don't remember what he said, but I believe last or Large Databank did actually say there was a reason why it's named Cockroach. I just don't remember what it is. Okay, all right. So I'm getting a little distracted here. Let me focus on just making sure I've got the latest Flake updates and stuff. I have a couple of multi-regional projects coming up, so I do think that Cockroach is a valid candidate. What do you need so I guess I shouldn't say it like that because I don't mean to sound negative. I guess a better way of putting it is what are your requirements that make it multi-regional? I guess would be my question. You know what I mean? Nix. So what I want to do now is, now that I've like just updated all my packages, I want to actually do a garbage collect. Nix store GC. Now see, here's the thing. If I do this, I don't think this is the same thing as me garbage collecting as the root user, though I'm not sure. Hey, Nix people, if there's anybody out there who is comfortable with Nix, when you do Nix store, like basically when you use the new commands, or actually I have a two-part question. First question is, if I use optimize as root versus not root, essentially, is that scoped? Like, is garbage collection scoped to users? Which, now that I think about it, probably isn't, because that would probably be very difficult to do. And then the second question I have is, so like, see, that says, okay, so yeah, check this out. This is interesting. I'm going to get rid of this because now I actually need it. So it says it cleared 584 paths and removed 341 megabytes of data. Now, I can't believe that I've only got 341 megabytes of store data because I build constantly. So I'm wondering if I do sudo nix store store GC if this does anything different. Yeah, so okay, so that did nothing. Okay, so let's do garbage. Okay, so let's try the old command now. And let's see what this does. Yeah, so is Nix store GC not doing the same thing that garbage collect is doing? Like, am I not understanding those properly? Garbage collect. Oh my gosh, I can't spell garbage. Garbag collect. I deleted around 3 to 6 gigs of Pac-Man, yay, every couple of weeks. That's puny compared to mine. Yeah, no, well, I mean, first off, whoa, we're not comparing stuff here. Hey, how about that, huh? How you like me now, son? 5 gigs, all right? We're equally sized. Calm down. I don't understand, though. Like, I don't understand why. Like, I guess I don't know what Nix store GC does versus, like, Nix garbage collect. Before playing with GC, first run the Nix garbage collector once so we have a clean playground to do experiments. Okay, sure. Let's give it a shot. Let's do it. I want to understand how garbage collection works with Nix. So Nix, oh, you know what's interesting? It's saying that it's saying that I don't even need to be running this as root. Okay, so that's good to know. You don't need to be running it as root. That's good to know. Okay, let's continue. Perfect. If you run it again, you won't find anything new to delete as expected. What's left in the Nix stores? Okay, so chat, here we go. We're going to do a little bit of Nix today. I'm going to show you guys how the garbage collector works while I learn how to do it myself. And what we're going to do, chat, is this is what is called taking a Nix pill. If you don't know what that means, Nix basically has what we would call a course, I guess, so to speak. And there's this like big thing in the Nix community around like, you know, the red pill and like, you know, they're all just nerds. So we're all just like, you know, basically pretending we live in the Matrix, although we probably do for real. And so what this is you taking a pill every time, ideally, and everything we go through is like a different pill, right? Your first derivation, working with derivations, stuff like that. So what this is this is us taking the garbage collector pill, essentially, and learning how garbage collection works with Nix. Now, if you've ever used anything like Homebrew, right, some of this may seem a little familiar. Welcome to the 11th Nix pill. In the previous 10 pill, we managed to obtain a self-contained development environment for a project. The concept is that Nix build is able to build a derivation in isolation, while Nix shell is able to drop us into that shell. Yeah, exactly. And we can even, like, honestly, I might even do the Nix pills on stream. That might actually be very fun. I'm not against that, actually. I'm not against doing the Nix pills on stream. That could be very fun. And it's just like easy, you know. Today we stop packaging and look at mandatory Nix component, the garbage collector. When using Nix tools, often derivations are built. This both includes .drv files and out paths. These artifacts go in the Nix store, but we've never cared about deleting them until now. So this is very similar to like Homebrew again, where say you're installing like a bunch of different packages on Homebrew and you know, you're just filling space on your computer. It's the same thing with Nix. What Nix does is Nix builds everything and makes it immutable, right? So like, to give you an idea on that, if I go to my home directory and I just do ls-alh, right? If you notice, you're going to notice that like my ZSHM is actually symlinked to a Nix store file, right, called .zshm. And the reason for that is because that's what Nix does. Nix builds everything immutably, right, holds it into the store, basically labels it, right, and then that specific, what we call derivation or change is really what it is. It's just a build of changes. This build is what it's then symlinked to. So for example, if I made a change to my ZSHM, right, and then I reran my .files configuration, this would now go to a new Nix store path, essentially. And so what we're talking about is we're talking about garbage collecting all of that. Like, what happens when you've built like 500 things that are all like a gigabyte in size each. And then you're like, okay, I need to clean up my computer, right? Because Nix doesn't want to delete anything it doesn't have to, just in case you need it again. Nix also uses what's called lazy loading or lazy cache loading. So anything that already exists, it will keep cached. Thank you for the follow, by the way. I appreciate that. I'm an Nix pleb. Let's see how much of my Linux brain can comprehend. Well, I would hope at least so far the concept of garbage collection and what I'm kind of explaining to you now does kind of, ring a bell, because I think if anything, this is just a very common thing in package managers and things like that in general, where you have a scenario where you need to clean up a lot of data that has been downloaded to like a store, right? And that's really the thing is it's like, this is a store. And again, if we look back at ls-alh here, you're going to see that the store location is Nix store. See that right there, Nix store. That's where all the store files go. So that literal path, like if I go to cd Nix store, see this? All of these are builds of different things, just forever, right? Anything that I've had to build. Okay, so how does it work? Other package managers like DPKG always have always of removing unused software. Nix is much more precise in its garbage collection compared to these other systems. I bet with DPKG, RPM, or similar traditional packaging systems, you end up with some unnecessary packages installed or dangling files. With Nix, this does not happen. Obligatory monthly Prime sub incoming. Thank you for the free money, Atoda, to your own stream. How do we determine whether a store path is needed? The same way programming languages with a garbage collector decide whether an object is still alive. This is very important, chat. We've talked about Nix quite often and like what it is and what it ain't. You know what I mean? And I really want to lean back on what we have in our Discord. If you go to our Discord, you look to the pinned messages, you're going to see the declarative trinity, right? Remember, Nix is not just an operating system, language, or package manager, but it is all three things. So when they say that we can determine a path the way a programming language does, that's because we literally can, because it's literally using a programming language that we can do those things with. So that's something to note about Nix and why it is, again, so very good at building and having high reproducibility and stuff like that, is because it has a language it can lean on, it has a packaging system it can lean on, it has an operating system even potentially that it can lean on as well. Whereas like DPKG, it's just a very simple program. RPM, same thing, very simple program. Programming languages with a garbage collector have an important concept in order to keep track of live objects: GC roots, or garbage collection roots. A GC root is an object that is always alive unless explicitly removed as GC root. All objects recursively referred to by a GC root are live. Okay? So think about this for a second. Okay. I'm glad I'm the luckiest girl alive. Let's see here. Let's go to here. I hate Google auto search. Artoda, are you moving your money from left pocket to the right one? Okay, so hold on. So what this is basically saying, chat. Oh my gosh, there's so many things that we've got here. All right, we can get rid of this. So basically what this is saying, chat, is like this right here. We could say is like a GC root. Right? And what basically Nix is saying is that you're always going to at least have some kind of a GC root. And that GC root is then going to, as a dependency tree, match to other GC roots, right? Like such. And so what it's saying is that in the circumstance where one of these are no longer attached, right? This is what gets garbage collected, right? So for example, if this GC root then creates a derivation for this, and then this creates a derivation for this, this is all known about. This is all, dependency-wise linked to each other via the GC roots. However, say for example, we make a change and we say, okay, now this is the GC root and this leads to here. That means that now this is garbage collectible and this is our new GC root. And this is really how caching, or I'm sorry, this is really how garbage collection works. Not just like they say in Nix, but also in programming languages as well. There's a tree of references essentially, and that's how we know if it's alive or not. Essentially, yeah, it's not a dead node in the tree. Exactly, yeah. And any dead nodes are then cleaned up. Now, what they're also saying with Nix is that in these like GC roots, there can be like files, right? So like we'll say like file A, right? And then like file B. And because Nix has complete isolation as well as like immutability around this, if, for example, we had a file A and a file B over here, right? Say from this GC root. And then we had one over here as well. Whenever we switch between these GC roots, we also switch the files that are collected as well, because these are also a part of it. So again, if we switch, and this is why they said earlier that this is not a problem with Nix, which is if we switch over GC roots, well, not only does it know about the root, but of course it's going to know about any files within relation to that build. So it's going to get rid of all of it, right? And so, yeah, that's, again, Nix's garbage collection is pretty good. Therefore, the garbage collection process starts from GC roots and recursively marked reference objects as live. All other objects collected or can be collected and are deleted, and that's literally right. That's literally what we just exemplified. And this in Nix, there's the same concept. Instead of being objects, of course, GC roots are paths. Right? The implementation is very simple and transparent to the user. GC roots are stored under var nix GC roots. Ooh, okay. cd nix var nix GC roots. Interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah. I actually know about these. Yeah. It has like your current system. Okay, I know about this. Yeah. Okay. Nix allows this directory to have subdirectories. It will simply recurse directories in search of symlinks and paths. So for example, then we go to like booted system. Bam. There's our tree there. This is our other tree, current system, right? Per container, per user, Eric Reiner, current home, right? All of this stuff is in the tree. Very cool. Very cool. So anything that's not basically in these folders is going to get garbage collected from a Nix perspective. Listen, I'm gonna Nix store. So here's the thing, Agile. I want to use the new Nix commands if possible. I don't want to use the old ones. So the like Nix dash commands, those are the older ones. But I don't know if they're kind of required still. Like you might still have to do that. You've intrigued me to use Nix like I was intrigued to use Arch 2 to 3 years ago, and now I'm going to binge learn it. Welcome. Join the community, my friend. Yeah, Nix is awesome. Nix is super awesome. And it is something that again I'm working on, educating more. So I'm definitely an advocate for it. Share the love. I don't know what in the heck is going on with our Discord. Hello? Computer? Maybe we're waiting for something? Okay, the bot seems not working right now. Fantastic. All right, hold on. 1 second, chat. All right, I'm back. Let's just kick the bot really quickly. Bot Twitch. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see if we get this ping. Yeah, it's not even in the channel. God dang it. Not even in the channel, chat. Oh, look at that. It's like it joined the channel now. There it is. Weird. Very weird. There it is. Twitch command. Give it a second. It's creating the container. Have we not ran Twitch commands? I feel like we've already, yep, there it is. There you go. Oh, that's cool. It like highlights it and like gives it like moderator. Oh, that's neat. Okay, cool. Well, that looks good. All right, let's get back to this. Yeah, I don't know. Twitch, like, sometimes I have logic around reconnecting to WebSockets, like, and it's not terrible. So I don't really know why the bot will randomly get kicked from IRC. But we'll figure that out later. We'll figure something out with that later. Okay. So we have a list of GC roots. At this point, deleting dead store paths is easy, as you can imagine. We have a list of all live store paths, hence the rest of are dead. In particular, Nix first moves dead paths to Nix store trash, which is an atomic operation. Afterwards, the trash is emptied. So again, this is what's really nice about Nix is it's very, very thinking about every problem it's trying to solve. You know what I mean? When it goes to talking about garbage collection, it's really thinking about that problem thoroughly and saying like, okay, you know, we want to handle this as programmatically as we can. We want to be able to focus on having really good garbage collection and, you know, leaning on garbage collectors that are actually really efficient, which are more often than not programming language garbage collectors. Not all of them, but some of them. Okay, before playing with GC, first run the Nix garbage collector once so that we can have a playground with our experiments. And so we're going to do that really quickly again. And we can see that we have deleted anything. Okay, perfect. You run it again. You won't be able to see anything as expected. Deleting garbage. Yep, same thing. Great. Let's install for a moment BSD games. Okay, so Nix. Now, I'm not going to do it this way. I'm actually going to do Nix shell, Nix packages, and then we're going to do BSD games like this. Yo, highs and balls. Thank you, man, so much for the tier 1 sub, dude. Thank you. Hold on. You've only said 8 things ever in our community, my friend. Thank you so much, dude, for the money, man, the subby, the right out of your pocket too. Thank you, buddy. How are you doing, highs and balls? Thank you, man. I'm redoing my monitoring logging system, so I've been wanting to ask, can you tell me a bit of what time monitoring? You know what's hilarious about that, chat? Do you know what's absolutely hilarious about you asking that question? Is if you go to our wiki, man, I might have like written up a really good breakdown on centralized logging and how to get started with it. Who knows? It's crazy. Things like that happen from time to time. We do. Yeah, we have a wiki. Yep. We have a wiki. Yep. It's still, you know, again, it's like, for example, so the wiki, the YouTube, and I think Twitter really have been something in the past like 4 months we've been leaning on more. You know what I mean? So they're new. A lot of these things are still new that we're working on. But yeah, absolutely. We kind of realized that like it's really hard to share information with you guys. Again, I work on really high level concepts and I'm going really quick sometimes. So I know that you guys want to be able to digest this in your own path and your own times and stuff like that. Another big thing is to go to our wiki, or sorry, not our wiki, the Alt F4 archives. Go to the Alt F4 archives. This is where you can catch any of our VODs. Oh crap, I gotta update these titles. But yeah, and like, again, I like if there's a title that's missing, I normally catch it within like a day or two. But if you go through stream recordings, you can literally find the VOD on it. It's somewhere in here. Centralized logging technical design. There you go. There's the 4-hour VOD on it. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily the superest easy way of doing it, but what I am trying to tell you is we work very hard on making sure that there's a trail for the information if you need it. So yeah, either check the wiki, check the YouTube. More than likely we'll have it. You know what I mean? I'm doing good. Hope everyone is having a nice day. Yo, highs and balls, you came in here with just so much love. I think if anything, we're having a much better day now. So thank you, buddy. I hope you're having a good day too. But yeah, no, I'm having a good day. I'm learning about garbage collection with Nix, which is always fun. Okay, so we're going to add BSD games really quickly. All right, let's do that. Yeah, that I wrote that article to be a good practical start to centralized logging. Yeah. Now, to be clear, we actually use Grafana. So we do have centralized logging. Read link -f which fortune. Bam. So check it out. So I added BSD games to my shell, essentially. This is a Nix feature. It's kind of like Homebrew, again, where I need something and I want to install it. However, a thing to note about this is if I tried using Fortune, for example, in another shell, so if I just do this, oops, sorry, this, and then I do Fortune, you'll notice that the command doesn't work. So essentially, when you do Nix shell, Nix packages, and then like pound your command or your package that you need, it will go out, find it in Nix packages, which is the, you know, repository store, build it, and then symlink it to your current shell. And so even though if I do this, like look at this, if I do read link here, I could still, or no, I'm sorry, yeah, I won't even see it because it's not even symlink because I don't have which. But if I do this, you'll see that it is still in my store. So that's what another thing I kind of want to note here is like using Nix does give you this really high dynamicness where it's like, okay, I need a packet, I need to install something really, like a lot of Nix users don't install many things because you can just add it to your shell on the fly when you need. And I've actually become accustomed to that as well, where like I only really install things I use all the time, where like it would just be more obtrusive for me to constantly be doing like Nix shell, Nix shell, Nix shell. But anything else, like I just do it this way because it's easier. You know what I mean? And so like I said, it's still gonna be in the store, right? But it's just not gonna be available to this shell because I didn't add it to this shell. All right. And that's part of this garbage collection, which is like, if I had Fortune and then I closed this shell and then it just went away, garbage collection, would happen there, not manually somewhere else. So this is a reason why these still exist after these sessions, is because if I wanted to, like say if I wanted to add it to my shell again, watch how quick it does. Boom, it's instant, right? Now I have Fortune, boom. And so that's the power of the the store, and even having a garbage collector that you can use later, is because you can still have, again, this lazy caching as long as you want, and then you're like, okay, I need to clean up my computer, let's make some space. So if we said that we added it, we downloaded BSD games, we added it to our shell, and then we also did a relink to figure out where Fortune is on our computer. Right? It's in the Nix store. Yo, have a good one, buddy. Thank you so much for hanging out. Seriously, if you are interested in Nix, I highly recommend you checking out our Discord. We have a fantastic community in there full of people who are interested in helping you out. So yeah, feel free to ask away, man. We're here to help. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, what does it say? It says, all right, so let's find the root. So we're going to say Nix store -q. Oh, I guess I have to do it the old way. Nix store -q -roots which Fortune. And look at this. Now you'll see that we have our root. That's interesting that it's censored. Wonder why it says censored. But yeah, this is our root pointing to our actual derivation. Nix env list generations. Yeah, I don't have any generations because I just added it to the store. So this won't be here. The Nix store command can be used to query, and like this is another thing you'll notice that the commands they're using is like Nix dash, but what I'm using is like Nix space. That's because these are the new commands. I don't even know how supported they are yet. Like I've seen in some places where you can use them completely fine. I've seen some others that are like not fully there yet. But I try and use the new ones as much as I possibly can, because they also, even as you can tell, kind of work a little differently. So yeah, I'm trying to use the new ones, but if I need to, I'll use the old ones. The Nix store command can be used to query GC roots that refer to a given derivation. In this case, the our current user environment does refer to BSD games, which yes, it does because it's in our user environment. Now, to remove it, collect garbage and note that BSD games is still in the Nix store. Oh, yeah, that's what I just did. Yeah, that's basically what I did is I showed you by... So the way they're doing it is they're saying like, hey, remove it, which is doing nixenv-e, which uninstalls it, doing a garbage collect. That's because our old generation is still in the Nix store. Yeah. So what they're talking about here is something, I guess I'll just show you. Yeah, I'll just show you how they do it. So this is not really what I was doing. What I was doing was just kind of like dynamically adding it to my current shell, right? Whereas this is actually like creating environments and then like adding it to an environment. So if I wanted to, I could say like nixenv-ia, nix packages, BSD games. Now we will see it. Wait, sorry, what is it? IA, nix packages, BSD games. Attribute nix packages and selection nix packages BSD games not found. What? Is it like this? No? I don't use nixenvs, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to reproduce what they're trying to do. So I'll just explain it to you. Whenever you use Nix, you can create environments. They're called nixenvs. They're not the same as like Nix dev shells. Those are something different. Environments are kind of like profiles on a computer, right? I don't really use this because I don't really like using like a ton of profile. Like I don't have like a dev profile and then a this profile and then that profile. Maybe in the future, but not for right now. What they're talking about is they created an environment and then they installed Nix packages BSD games to it, right? And then when they did Nix list generations, you could see that they returned to generation 9 current. However, when you look at mine, I have nothing. And that's because I don't use nixenv. However, for you to understand what they're talking about next, you kind of need to understand that, which is there are profiles that can be created with Nix as well that you can kind of like activate on the fly and it'll change your shell for you. And this is outside of using a Nix dev shell, okay? And so again, these are kind of like available anywhere on your system versus like being specific to a repository or something like that. If I added something to that environment, right, and then I even removed it and then did a garbage collection, it might not actually get rid of it because the actual generation is still here. This guy, like it still has a reference to this generation here. And what we really want is a new generation so that we can delete the old generation. In this case, what we would actually do is, like you could see here, see how we moved to 10 from 9? Once we move to 10 and do a garbage collection, you'll see that BSD games is now gone. And so if I do a garbage collection now, you'll see that it catches all of the BSD games files, right? And it can delete 140 megabytes of data. And if I do -d, that'll just make sure that it actually gets rid of it, right? And now if I go back to my LS, you'll see that there's no directory there now. So this is very important when we talk about using Nix garbage collection, that if it has a reference somewhere, it will still stay around. So making sure that you're completely creating a new generation. And again, normally these things are dynamic. So for example, let's try deleting the generation that refers to BSD games, and now note that BSD games is no longer in the store. So what they did was they just deleted 8, which we became 9 because we deleted 8, right? And then that was like, okay, well, that generation's gone. Now we can delete everything, right? To what end? Why would you, one, use generations, and for what for? Oh, here, I can literally show you. Like, I don't even have to say anything. So say your computer dies. Like, say you just, like this is a good use for NixOS. This is one of my favorite parts about NixOS. Say your system dies. Actually, I did just delete all my generations, so there might not be any there. But say your system completely dies, and you're like, oh, dude, I just broke my system somehow by a configuration or something like that. If I was to reboot, because, yeah, there it is. Actually, I do have them. Look at this. These are all of my generations that I have created with Nix. And so, technically, with Nix, you can actually go back in time from a configuration standpoint if you need to fix something. And this works just how this works with the operating system. It works with every other part of the builds. Every one of these has, generations and stuff like that. And so yeah, if I wanted to, I could say like I want to go back to 277. My system can then reboot. I can make a new generation 279, and then I can try that, right? So that's what those generations are for. They allow you to do rollbacks and stuff like that if you need to, which is again super nice. Okay, sorry about that. I had to hide my screen really quickly. Okay, and so there we go. Now we have a good understanding of garbage collection. So for the most part, we should be able to just... It does look like we do want to use Nix garbage or Nix collect garbage, though. It doesn't look like collect garbage is the same thing as like garbage collecting the store. Maybe it's just different for some reason. I don't know, but this seems to be the command that we want to like actually use. What if I do sudo? Now here's a question. If I reboot after doing sudo, are all of my generations gone? No, they're not. Okay. Tragic. Uh-oh. What is this? Did you... Agile, are you just like looking up everything I'm talking about? I love it. I appreciate it. Is there equivalence to Nix store... Is there Nix equivalent to Nix store and GC roots? Oh. So I guess the thing is no. Right? Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, there's no answer at least yet. Yeah, there's no answer yet. Okay. I gotta, you know what you just reminded me of, dude? You know what you just reminded me of? I gotta join this discourse. Hold on. Bam. Now I'm in here. Hell yeah, this will be nice. This will be super nice. I gotta like I'm really trying to be an advocate for Nix, and so like being in all of the stuff is a good idea. Remember that building GNU Hello World package in Nix build process with a result similarly current. Despite the collected garbage done, the Hello program is still working. Therefore, it has not been garbage collected. Clearly, since there's no other derivation that depends upon the GNU Hello World package, it must be a GC root. Okay, that makes sense. In fact, Nix build automatically adds the result symlink as a GC root. Let me ask you guys something. I want to make a super... yeah, let me ask you guys something. Okay, so here's the question I want to ask you guys, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of a breakdown of what this is before I put in the poll. Okay, so we've been talking about Nix a lot, right? This is something that we are like, we've been growing more around, and talking about stuff just in general, right? There's this thing out there in the Nix community world called Nix Pills. And the whole idea behind Nix Pills is it's really just a series of blog posts written by Luca Bruno and originally posted in 2014 and 2015. It provides a tutorial introduction to the Nix package manager and Nix package collection in the form of short chapters called pills, right? Since the pills are considered a classic introduction to Nix, an effort to port them to a current format was led by in 2017. If you're in current pound, so the idea here, chat, is that this is a getting started guide to Nix. Essentially, this is kind of like a Duolingo for Nix. I have not done this. I've only learned what I have learned on the fly, and I've not really, I've not really sat down and like taken a time to really get all the fundamentals down and in place. However, I would be open to doing this on stream with you guys. Now, this is not something we're going to be able to do in one day. As a matter of fact, like this, this is something that might take a decent amount of time, like maybe a couple of streams. So what I want to ask you, chat, is that do you want to take the pill? All right, I'm putting the poll out now. Are you guys interested enough to where you guys would want me to do the pills live, the Nix pills live? I'm fine with doing them live. I'm interested in it because I think that it could be a really like massively educational experience. And if on top of it, you can easily go back to the VODs later and watch them yourselves, and like we'll name the VODs so that you guys know. So please do me a favor and poll so that I know if you guys are interested in this. And if you are, then I'm down to do it. I'm down to do it. Like I said, we'll try and get through it as quickly as possible, but I do think that it could be something that's very fun. What the heck is Nix Pills? I just explained it. Big Blaster, did you like literally just, dude, I'm not even kidding, like literally 30 seconds before you asked that question, I explained what it was. It is essentially, Nix Pills is a guide to getting started with Nix that was written by a Nix community member, and it's focused on getting started while also getting you comfortable with what Nix is and all of that stuff. As a matter of fact, it might even be good for me to do it just because I'm working on a YouTube video for this, and that could help quite a bit in educating you guys. So that's another reason why I'm super interested in it as well. But yeah, this is the reason why they call it Nix Pills is because they're nerds and they liked the Matrix. That's why they're called Nix Pills, is because they are nerds and they liked the Matrix. But yeah. How did you get into the Nix project? I got into, so funny backstory, 10x developer. I work on a project called LSP Containers. Right? This is an open source project that we made a long time ago. Well, it's pretty obvious that you guys want to do it, so fair enough, we'll do it. But this is basically a project that we made for NeoVim a while ago, and it's something that like we continually upgrade or continually like contribute to. But it uses Docker containers to run language servers on your computer, so you don't have to like download them yourself or do any of those other things. Somebody came in here one day, and there's this now infamous post called "Why." This is actually how we met Cran as well as Max, and honestly a lot of our Nix friends that we have now. And honestly, like I thought it was just 100% troll, and so it was very difficult for me to take it like right away. But as I have always tried sharing with you guys, it's very important to be open-minded. You never know what you're gonna learn, dude. Like seriously. And I'm not even kidding you, chat. When they came in and did that to me, I was like, yo, you can go yourself. Like I was just like, dude, I have no interest in learning Nix. But then they took the time to breaking it down, and like really kind of explaining it to me. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll give this a shot. Like, feel free to join our Discord. They did. And honestly, it was just kind of this weird birth of me getting really interested in how the system, it was, I think somebody described it really well earlier. It's like, you know, getting on Arch Linux for the first time or trying Rust for the first time. You know what I mean? You're just fascinated by learning and what you're doing with it and what the like how it does things so differently. You know what I mean? Is so intriguing. But yeah. Got to go see him. Make sure to check out Nix Dev though. I think the guy behind Cashix wrote it. Yes, I will. We'll probably take a look at that too. I want to do the pills thing just because I think the pills is like it's just such a commonly shared thing. Should I use NixOS? We'll definitely check out LSP containers. Yeah, LSP containers again. That's our own thing. So if you're interested in it, it'll send the message in a second. Should I use NixOS? I think you should try it if you're interested in it for sure. I think NixOS has got a really, like, again, you know, I can do things like break my configuration and then, restart my computer, go into a different, like, so one thing we were talking about earlier, and again, Big Blaster, if you didn't catch this, it's all good. But when you use NixOS with Nix, the language, right? If I reboot my computer, we should, see these generations here? These are all of the changes. And every time I change, it's a new generation. So if I broke something in 278, I can go back to 277 and reboot my computer with that configuration. This is all because of Nix and how it works. Does that mean you can't get this in other operating systems? I mean, no, not potentially. You know what I mean? But Nix is designed to just work that way. Like, it generates generations every time. It knows how to garbage collect those generations. So yeah, like it's very powerful in that regard, as well as just reproducibility in general. You know what I mean? It sounds like a Hollywood raw. Yeah, it does, right? All right, guys, tell you what, here's what I want to do. I'm going to take a break super quick because we're going to dive into, we're going to do it, chat. All right. We're going to do it. We're going to, hold on. I got to find it. We're going to take the pill, chat. Take the red pill. We're going to do it. We're going to take the red pill. Come on, dude. Are you kidding me? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see? Or we're going to take the blue pill. Sorry, we're going to take the blue pill. My bad. Wrong pill. We're going to take the blue pill. I'm excited. Because I know this is going to be a second, I am going to go to the bathroom really quickly and just like get a drink, all that good stuff, because we're going to do it. We are going to jump down the Nix pills, or we're going to take the Nix pill and we're going to go see how far the rabbit hole goes, chat. Has left the Matrix because BG said wrong color. Yeah, right? Shit, where'd he go? He took the wrong one. No. Are Nix packages up to date and maintained? Yes, they are. As a matter of fact, Nix packages is probably the largest package manager, as well as packages that are included with it. Nix has got a very, very, very awesome part of it, which is it is basically powered by the community. If I found an issue with something, I would report it. If you found an issue with something, you would report it. We all work together, you know, and this package manager is built by developers that has a lot of packages in it that are maintained. And again, they lean on all of the principles of Nix, which means that they're highly reproducible. They can be built on multiple platforms and all of that good stuff. Open question to all of chat and host. I'm building a file server out of a large case of old hard drives. What distro is best? TrueNAS, Open Media Vault, other. So I'm going to be real, Joey. I'm going to tell you the thing that like probably not a lot of people do. There's something to note about content on YouTube. They're just going to tell you the things they like, because that's like kind of all we can do, or the things we don't like. Like, it's going to be relative to us, right? I try not to do that, but like even I, do that. Like it is very difficult to really talk about like, what you actually need and more so just like what we prefer, because a lot of the things on YouTube, like people want you, and even myself included, want you to walk away with like a homegrown product. You know what I mean? Something like that. So Joey, here's I'm gonna be real with you. Your operating system doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You can set up a NAS on Linux. You can set it up on probably not Windows because Windows is Samba. No, you probably still, you might be able to with like Windows Server. You can do it with TrueNAS. You can do it with Open Media Vault. You can do it with all of these things. The thing that's really going to make your NAS worthwhile to you is if it's performant, right? We can manage, a NAS many different ways with a file system manager or a really cool, whatever. But if it literally only transfers data at like 10 megabits per second, it's just not super worth it. There's value to using things like TrueNAS as well as Open Media Vault because they're a little bit more focused on like consumer-based solutions, right? But in all seriousness, you could use Linux by itself, just with a bunch of hard drives plugged into a computer, bim, bam, boom, you got yourself a NAS, right? They're just little computers. That's really all they are. And one of the reasons why I do not like NASs is because they're also normally not very well retrofitted performance-wise and technology-wise. They normally have slower processors and not as not as much memory. When we talk about moving data requires a lot of memory because that data gets put into memory. If you're moving just like little files, 1 megabyte, 2 megabyte files, they'll move fast and you won't see a lot of problems with that. But if you're moving like a 10, 20 gigabyte file, your NAS or whatever is going to try and put that into memory so that it can, move it as quickly as it possibly can, or at least it's going to try to. And then that can massively, massively slow down your NAS. So if you want my honest opinion, yeah, I don't think the operating system is as important. I think having a really, really, really good, hardware. I know having old hardware can be nice, and you can definitely pull things off. But if you've got like 5,400 RPM disk drives, I don't know. You're already at a bit of a disadvantage. Yeah, that's my honest opinion about all of that. I hope it helps. And I do want to encourage you to go and try out my encouragement to you is go try TrueNAS, go try these things and see which one you like. Because at the end of the day, we all care about performance and whatever, but only you are going to care about, the UI and how it works and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yo, what's up, Waken? Hello. Important cultural note, chat is pronounced Nas like the rapper or Nas like nasty. You want to know something funny, live coding? I've worked with Nas. He's a very nice guy. Very sweet guy. Very quiet guy. Also slightly terrifying. He's a big guy. Well, he's not huge, but like he's built. And so like he walks in the room and you're just like, oh, hi, you could probably kill me. But he's a very nice guy. Very sweet guy. Sorry, side note. Possibly poll answer. It doesn't matter because most people don't set up NASs. That is a fun fact. Yeah. It was a cool time. It was one of my few like whoa moments where I actually geeked out a bit. He will slay you lyrically and physically. Yes. Thanks for the thoughts. I'm not worried about performance at all, but I've got 3 pairs of hard drives so I can mirror raid them. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you don't feel like you're gonna have performance issues, which is totally fine. That's good. Like I'm glad to hear that. I don't really like so Joey, to give better perspective in that question, at least it shouldn't affect your performance at all. So it's purely just going to be from a manageability standpoint. And I guess another question, Joey, is do you want it to just be a NAS? Do you want it to be more like, and that's really where like the operating systems like TrueNAS and stuff like that come into play, right? Like some of them, I know there's like, is it like Open Cloud or something like that? Own Cloud. Yeah, Own Cloud. Yeah. Like this is something kind of similar to that where like NAS systems also enable like file managers and you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I don't know, which operating systems may or may not provide those. So I never understood that part of rap culture. He said mean things in funny/good way. And now I'm not mad anymore. I mean, wait, sorry, what are we talking about? Are we talking about Nas? Sorry, I don't know if I'm following exactly what you mean. All right, let me take a super quick break. Like I said, when we come back, here, let me do this. Let me change the title of the stream so that DevOps plus Nix, taking Nix pills. DevOps plus Nix pills. Perfect. Yeah. All right, I'm going to take a super quick break. Again, just for anyone just tuning in and wanting to know what's going on, I'm going to the bathroom. But when I come back, we are going to take our Nix pills. And if you do not know what Nix pills are, it is basically a series of blog posts and articles that were curated and put together into making a kind of like tutorial series on how to get started with Nix. We've talked about Nix a lot. If you're interested in how Nix works or what it is or why you should give it a try or anything like that, we're going to be going through that today. I want to go through all of these Nix pills. So we'll go through probably a couple of them today. I don't know how far we'll get with all of them, because like if you look at them, there's like 14, 20 of them, something like that. But we will at least get through a few of them today. And I will say that since these are probably the first few, if you're very interested in like just learning what it is, how it works, stuff like that, you're probably going to want to pay attention, because yeah, I'm sure the first few ones are going to be focused on like just explaining and less tutorials, and then we'll get into more of the actual like coding and stuff like that. But yeah, there are 3 Nix pills, a holy trinity of pills, if you will. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm going to take a super quick break. When I get back, we're going to hop in and we're going to start taking our Nix pills. All right. All right. I'm going to go to the bathroom. All right. I'll be right back. 1 second. Oh, by the way, hold on. By the way, really quickly, I'm going to run an ad. If you don't know why we run ads, do that. Discord, social, YouTube. Okay, there you go. All right, I'll be right back. Yo, all right, I'm back, chat. Can I listen? I'm gonna vent just for a super quick second, okay? I got you. I was just on Twitter, and I want to show you guys something. It's probably gonna pop back up. Where is it? Come on, it was like a promoted thing. Welcome to our Twitter feed, chat. Oh, there's so many things I have to like. Shit, I haven't been on today. Where is it? Come on, dude. Where is this thing? Let me try it one more time. Maybe. Damn. All right. Well, anyways, I opened up Twitter, and I've seen this account before. So if you see this post, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. But somebody put out a post saying like DevOps is dead, platform something or another. I can't remember. It's like platform something is in, and then it's like ... or so they say. Right. And then after that, it's like, check out the first ever report on the state of platform. Blah. Like they basically just took like the DevOps word, changed it, and then we're like, well, we're going to be the first to talk about it. And I'm like, dog, is this fashion? Like, is it bad that I don't even give a what we call it? I know what it is. It doesn't matter what we call it. Like, we can call it platform engineering, we can call it DevOps, we can call it flippity floor. But I don't like who cares? Just whatever. It's still the same job. I just like I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff so much. And like DevOps has been like my home for such a long time and has not had that really fall into it, because a lot of people don't know what it is. But I feel like as people start understanding it, they start twisting it, and then it's just like, come on, bro. Yo, Little Sparrow, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Thank you for the Bezos Buckies. Thank you, bud. I appreciate that. Also, I don't know if that's a Rick and Morty reference, but that's what I think of Little Sparrow. And she's like, I'm coming, Condor. I saw that article. It was absolutely meaningless. Yeah, I do not like those types of articles. And like, I'm gonna be real, I hold back on literally just hopping on that thread and being like, this is pointless. Because it's literally the same. It's just the same thing with like oh, it's from Favorable. Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, nice. Okay, got it. I'll take that too. Fable's a good one too. You out nerded me on that one. But yeah, no, I saw that article and I was just like, ugh. So like, and like, here's the thing is, personally, I would rather not say anything than put stuff out like that. I'm sorry to say it. I hate to be such a drama queen, but like, I really would rather, and that's why honestly, we're much more commonly putting things out less because we're trying to be more strategic about it. You know what I mean? I think like a year from now, we're going to look back and we're going to have tons of stuff, but because we're building it right now, it just seems slow. But anyways, yo, Cran, what's up? Yo, Cran. Hey, Cran. When did you tell me? Why didn't you tell me that you became the NeoVim nightly overlay maintainer? Huh? Why didn't you tell me? It's broken. It's not working right now. Will you go fix it? Thank you. It is. I fixed it. When did you fix? Oh my gosh, is this literally you an hour ago? Oh, that's awesome. Is it out? Is it out? Like, can I actually? Yeah, I guess I could, huh? Let's give it a shot. I'm just giving you a hard time, buddy. That's cool, man. That's awesome. Honestly, I was very hyped to see it. I was like, oh shit, Cran's owning this now. This is dope. That's cool, man. I honestly didn't even know you contributed to it. So that's cool that you're maintaining it now. Now I know who to bother. Let's see though. Let's see. Test. All right, and then we're gonna hop. Oh, by the way, Cran, I think you're gonna be pretty hyped on this, dude. We are gonna go through the Nix pills course on stream. We're gonna start today. I'm gonna go through all of them. So we are gonna go through all the Nix pills. Yeah. Right, MJ Bach has got. Yep. I saw the issue. All right, let's see. Nope, this is still happening. Oh, maybe it's not the NeoVim itself. Maybe it's the maybe it's the actual, maybe it's not the overlay, I guess is what I'm trying to say. This might not be the actual overlay if you're saying that it's working. Is this to be expected? People say, yeah, I want lower level knowledge. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah. Go to the CI of the last commit. Okay. Is this Hercules? Hold on, chat. We're debugging a NeoVim Nix overlay issue right now. We're gonna get in the pills. Just one second. Sorry. Actually, hold on. What am I looking for? Go to a different job. All right, I'm gonna do this later. I want to get into the pills. I'll do this with you later, Cran. I don't wanna go through all this right now. But yeah, what's up, the Bard Kevin? How's it going, buddy? Yeah, dude, we're doing some Nix today. And I'm not trying to be rude, Cran. I hope you don't think I'm trying to be rude. I want to get into Nix pills. Like, that's what I took a break to come back and do. So I don't want to get sidetracked. But yeah, I don't know. Something's going on. Something weird's going on. But what's going on, the Bard Kevin? How's it going, buddy? All right, so check it out. We are going to hop into Nix pills. If you are just tuning in and you are not fully aware of what is going on, okay? There's a lot of nerds in the Nix world. I'm one of them. And there's that whole concept of, taking the red or taking the blue pill, right? The whole matrix, whatever. And so long story short, this is a series of kind of like articles and blog posts that are supposed to help you take the Nix pill, so to speak, and learn more about Nix and how it works, so that by the time you're done taking these pills, so to speak, then you should have a pretty good understanding of it all. And so I want to be able to. I'm working on a YouTube video right now, which is like a completely getting started explanation video of kind of what it is, all this stuff. Okay, cool. I'll look at it later, Cran. I appreciate that, buddy. Thanks, Isaac. I appreciate that. But yeah, I want to go through this just because I want to also have a very good understanding so that I can educate properly as well. So we are going to go through all of these pills. And it is kind of like a step by step, right? So we're going to get started. It'll be a little bit more, and it'll, go through pretty much hopefully all of the main key points of Nix. Okay. Chapter 1, why you should give it a try. Now, this is actually a question I get asked all the time, right? Like why you should even give Nix a try or anything like that. So I'm very interested to see why they say it. Welcome to the first post of the Nix Pills in series. Nix and Pills series. Nix is a purely functional package manager and deployment system for POSIX. Yo, Canhorn, thank you so much. Thank you so much, dude, for the 8 months, man. I appreciate you. How you doing, buddy? There's a lot of documentation that describes what Nix, NixOS, and related projects are, but the purpose of this post is to convince you to give Nix a try. Installing NixOS is not required, but sometimes I may refer to NixOS as a real-world example of Nix usage for building a whole operating system. So basically what they're saying there is that they're going to lean on NixOS as a way of using Nix, essentially, and why you would do that. All good, man. I manage my dot files in Nix. Never went through Nix Pills, though, to be honest. So in the Nix Pills ride together, I guess. Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, I do the same thing. If you're interested about my dot files, you can check them out. I have 2 dot files, technically, because I did make a YouTube video on how to do it the non-Nix way first, because I do think that is still very valuable to a lot of people. And then my second repo dot files dash Nix is the Nix specific one. Rationale for this series. The Nix packages and NixOS manuals along with the wiki are excellent resources for explaining how Nix and NixOS works, how you can use it, and how cool things are being done with it. However, at the beginning, you may feel that some of the magic which happens behind the scenes is hard to grasp. This is actually very common, right? This is same thing with a lot of newer kind of different technologies out there. This aims to complement the existing explanations from the more formal documents. The following is a description of Nix. Just as with pills, I'll try and be as short as possible. Okay? Okay. Not being purely functional. Most, if not all, widely used package managers, dpkg, rpm, etc., mutate the global state of the file system. If a package foo 1.0 installs a program to user bin foo, you cannot install foo 1.1 as well, unless you change the installation paths or the binary name. But changing the binary names means breaking users of that binary. There are some attempts to mitigate this problem. Debian, for example, partially solved this problem with the alternative system. So while in theory it's possible with some current systems to install multiple versions of the same package, in practice it's very painful. And as a matter of fact, we can even, kind of re-edify this by saying, like, that's why a lot of people use, Node version manager, right? Or virtual environments, right? And things like that is because it's difficult to say, like, all right, I want Python 3.9, and then I need Python 3.10 over here, and this, right? Same thing with Node, another language. So again, what they're talking about is literally this problem. The problem of, well, okay, cool, that package managers can install a specific version for you, but can they install 5 different versions for you and then also manage those versions so that you can access them when you need them? Let's say you need an Nginx service and also an Nginx Open REST service. You have to create a new package that changes all the paths to have, for an example, and -open REST suffix. Or suppose that you want to run 2 different instances of MySQL, 5.2 and 5.55. The same thing applies. You also have to make sure that the 2 MySQL client libraries do not collide. And as a matter of fact, one thing I'm also going to note is you also have to make sure that the data paths don't collide, right? Because MySQL 5.2 and 5.5 may still have the exact same data structures and still saved to the same locations, right? So that's a very common scenario too, right? This is not possible. This is not impossible, right? But it is very inconvenient. If you want to install 2 whole stacks of software like GNOME 3.10 and 3.12, can't even imagine the amount of work. And that's very true. That's super true, actually. Like, if you wanted 2 different versions of GNOME, how often do you do that? That's very challenging. Oh, nice. You also have Darman stuff mixed in there. I'm going to yoink some bits. Oh, yeah, dude, go for it. That's why it's there. That's why it's there. From an administrator's point of view, you can use containers. I'm going to stand, chat. I'm gonna stand and use my I don't even care if somebody redeems stand. I'm gonna stand. How you like me now? I feel like standing is gonna help with my enunciation. Stand up, gang. All right, here we go. From an administrator's point of view, what if we redeem Oh, dude, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. This is going on YouTube. I'm not doing this for Canhorn. I'm not doing that. I love you, dude, so much. I can't. This is serious. Hold on. I'm gonna give you your points back. I can give you your points back. Yeah, there you go. All right, you should have gotten your points back. Please tell me you did. The only reason, again, please don't hate me. The only reason why I'm doing it is just because I'm reading a document and I don't feel like reading it in basically Southern accent at the moment. If somebody has to go back and like, I'm making this for YouTube basically. Oh, that would make no sense. Okay. Don't hate me. Please don't hate me. I'm going to hold this against you forever. I'm sorry. I feel so bad. I should have just disabled it when I thought of it. That's my fault. But hey, at least I was able to give you your points back. And again, once we re-enable it, you can have the first redemption right away. All right. Tell you what. Next time you redeem it, I'll do it for 10 minutes. Okay. Only because, yeah, I feel bad, and you've made me feel bad now. Okay. From an administrator's point of view, you can use containers. Right? And like that's a typical scenario nowadays as well. And I'm actually not even reading the next sentence. I'm literally just saying that, which is it is. Okay, we want, 2 different versions of MySQL running. Cool, run them in Docker containers on your computer, right? Stuff like that. It's a very common scenario in today's world where you're like, I need 2 different versions of something. That somewhat solves the problem, right? But at a different level and with other drawbacks. For example, needing orchestration tools, setting up a shared cache of packages and new machines to monitor rather than simple services. And they're not wrong. And as a matter of fact, like this kind of goes all the way back to even the LSP containers ticket. If you go and you actually look at that ticket that, somebody, I forget who opened it, but the Y ticket that I mentioned earlier, like this is a valid, oh my gosh, calling me. Okay. Sorry. This is a valid point. Like why do you need to ship like, an operating system and like virtualization and all of these things just to get a language server? And like, this is really where Gittes was coming from. They were coming from the perspective of like, you just need a language server. Why do you need all of these other things? And again, we really do try and illustrate what they illustrate, which is the typical solution is to create a container and then run it in that container. Like that's just a typical way of doing things. And honestly, when you're not using Nix, at least with regards to LSP containers, it solves it pretty great. The problem is that it, when you compare to what something like Nix can do, where it's talking about, being able to install 2 different versions and making sure they don't collide and things like that. This is where we, again, even fall short here, which is why this question is valid. How are the saves handled and when you update? So the easiest way of looking at it, Johnny, is whenever a new change is made, it is a new derivation. And we're going to get to that in a second. But the TLDR on it is whenever you change something, that is technically a new save. For an administrator's point of view, you can use... Oh, wait, sorry. That's someone... Oh, yeah, I read that too. For example, Oh, yeah, I read that too. From a developer's point of view, you can use virtualenv, right? For Python, JH build for GNOME, or whatever else. And again, that kind of leans back onto what I said earlier about NVM even, and what NVM solves, which is being able to install multiple node versions. But then how do you mix the 2 stacks? How do you avoid recompiling the same thing when it could, instead be shared? Also, you need to set up your development tools to point to the different directories and libraries that are installed. Not only that, there's the risk that some of the software incorrectly uses some libraries and so on. Nix solves all of this at the packaging level and solves it well, a single tool to rule them all, right? And they're very right that this also becomes a problem that if you say like, okay, I have a virtual env over here and then I have a virtual env over here and there's a virtual env here and then there's a virtual env over here, right? Well, okay, how do I make sure that they're all completely isolated and they're not touching each other? And, maybe I'm using the same database in one, for all of them, but I'm using different versions to like, test. Like there's so many different ways that these can collide with each other that it does really become quite a difficult problem. And this is, again, not being purely functional. If we're not being purely functional, this is the world we essentially live in, right? Now, being purely functional, this is where things change a bit, right? Nix makes no assumptions about the global state of the system. So that's the first thing to note. This has many advantages because also some, this has many advantages, but also some drawbacks, of course. And that's something else I want to be very clear about, right? One of the things that is a drawback to having to use Nix over Docker per se is that you have to use Nix. It's not as popular yet. It's still not as commonly used. You have to fully adopt it and other things that we'll talk about later. But I think that that's a bit of, what they may be talking about. So let's keep going. The core of a Nix system is a Nix user, usually installed under Nix/store. And we've already seen that as well, that if we do ls-alh Nix store, right? There's all of our store, right? And some tools to manipulate the store, right? And that's really the Nix CLI tool that I'm using, as well as some other CLI tools, right? In Nix, there is the notion of a derivation rather than a package. So we need to be very, very clear. In Nix, right? Derivation equals package. So whenever we say the word derivation, right, you basically want to think package. The difference can be subtle at the beginning, so I will often use the words interchangeably. Derivations packages, right, /packages are stored in the Nix store as follows. Nix store hash name. So if we go to the Nix store, each one of these, what are these, chat? What are all of these right here? Somebody in chat tell me what these are. What are these? Another drawback of making no assumptions is that you can't just run a binary of the internet and expect it to work. Yes. Yeah. Oh, you're doing Nix today? Yes. Bowdy, how's it going? Hello. Packages? Yes. Packages, derivations? Yes. They are derivations. Yes. So when we're in the Nix world, we have to get used to this word derivation, right? Thank you, chat, for the participation. I appreciate it. Okay, let's continue, right? Derivation/packages are stored in the Nix store as follows. Nix store hash name, where the hash uniquely identifies the derivation. This isn't quite true. It's a little bit more complex. And the name is the name of derivation. So I don't know how far they're going to go into this isn't quite true. It's a little bit more complex. But I do imagine the hashing, making it unique and stuff like that is a little bit more complex than that. So yeah, I guess for now we're just taking it as it's something that uniquely identifies the derivation, right? It's an ID of sorts, or of some type of identifier. Let's take a bash derivation as an example. Nix store s bash 42p5. This is a directory in the Nix store which contains bin bash. So what this means, chat, is that this Nix store folder literally has a bin folder in it, and then it has a bash file that you run bash with, right? Yo, what's up, some coding guy? Hey, Teach, how's it going, buddy? Thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Today we are working with Nix. If you guys don't know what Nix is, sit down and get ready for the awesomeness. Hey, BG, gotta run. Have a good one. Yo, Teach, thank you for the raid, buddy. As always, we appreciate you, man. Have a good rest of your evening. Hope you had a good stream, though, man. How's everybody doing? Welcome from Teach's wonderful, wonderful stream. If you do not know us, we are the Alta 4 stream. My name is BG. I'm one of the co-hosts here, as well as my really, really good friend and wonderful co-host Toda. Basically, during the week, I stream in the mornings, or pretty much around the same time that Tej does. He's a little earlier than I. He's a bit of a much more of a morning person than I am. I literally, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll see he's already live 2 hours in, and I'm just like, damn. One day we'll get there. And then I roll out of bed and I'm like, oh God. But yes, thank you guys for being here. Again, I stream throughout the weeks. I'm a senior software engineer. I work in DevOps. and I do a lot of different things. I started out in front end. I moved to back end. I then became full stack, and now I'm DevOps, solving all sorts of interesting and fun problems. I'm in love with something called Nix. I recently fell pretty hard for it after I had somebody. Believe it or not, we are also we're not NeoVim contributors, but we are NeoVim plugin contributors. We created a tool or plugin called LSP Containers. If you haven't heard of it, I think it's worth it. I should say, had a problem one day where I was like, man, I kind of like hate having to install LSP servers, and it's really annoying, and especially when like upgrading, like I just want it to work. Literally just like that. And so I'm a Docker guy. I love Docker. It's something I really do enjoy using, containers and stuff like that. And so I was on, interestingly enough, on the LSP config wiki. And I found somebody who had written an article, literally whoever did this, by the way, whoever wrote this one random article, running language servers. Yeah, this one article right here was enough for me to take it and then create a whole plugin out of it. And so what this does is, and what we do is we maintain Docker images of LSP servers, right? So here's our Docker files, and we have quite a few servers. We have quite a few, as you might be able to tell. And it's all integrated into LSP through LSP config, as well as NeoVim, where basically when you start your container and you open up a specific file, it knows how to go out, because it's Docker, obviously, it can just say, oh, I don't have this image, downloads it, runs it, keeps it for you locally. We also have some nice utilities to like pre-download the images if you'd rather not have to wait and things like that. So yeah, we made this utility or this plugin. And again, if you're curious about LSP containers, there you go right there. There it is. Yo, Joni, thank you so much for the Prime, man. Thank you for the Bezos Buckies. Thank you. By the way, welcome everybody. Let me say hi to everyone now that it's kind of slowed down a little bit. Hold on. Guy, how's it going? Shout out to Some Coding Guy. If you guys do not know him, check him out. Wonderful person. Way smarter than I am on so many levels. Amber Dev, hello. Monkey Ribbon, what is up? Hello. CO Camo, Melty Gear, hello. Drew, what is up? Some Coding Guy, dude, thank you for the 29 months, man. Holy crap. Thank you, dude. Are we going to see you at TwitchCon, by the way? Is anybody going to TwitchCon? We are going to TwitchCon this year. We're super hyped. We went to 2019 TwitchCon, so I'm super excited to be going back. So I hope to get to see some of you guys. No TwitchCon for me. Oh, that's okay. Not everyone is going, and that's fine. Like I totally get it. What I've told people is the truth, which is we live in San Diego. So it's like, it's easy for me. You know what I mean? It's like if I didn't go, it'd kind of be like, wow, BG, you're really lazy. What's up, Nix? How's it going? Jackie, hello as well. Or Jack Yesseline, my bad. I already said hi to Monkey Ribbon. Show us Nix power. I'm going to. Zedderetto, hello. Georgie, the morning is a pretty relative term when you have viewers from all around the world. That's very true. That's a very fair argument. Well, TJ's getting paid for streaming this month. Wait, what? BG, the DevOps magician. Thank you, man. Thank you. I try. I love DevOps. It's something I really do. TJ makes millions from Twitch. That's why. Right. Yes, as we all do. Well, it's annoying without Nix. What is? Yes, it is annoying without Nix. Yes. What is the main selling point of Nix? We're going to get to that in a second. So it's like mason.nvim, like kind of. I don't really know entirely what mason.nvim does, but it does manage your LSP containers for you and stuff. Just check out the plugin page. You'll be able to see how it works and all that stuff. No Docker, Podman forever. We work with Podman. It works with Podman or Docker. I just say Docker because not a lot of people know what Podman is, but this actually fully supports Podman. It's somewhere in here, but yes, it actually fully supports Podman. Hold on. Podman. There you go. Podman support. Shwam! There you go. We got it. We got you, Amber. We got you. All right, catching up. If I end up getting better, I will, but not sure I can make it. Yeah, no, all worries, man. Yo, Heisenballs, what the heck, dude? Holy crap, dude. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subbies. Well, I didn't even get there. I didn't even realize that happened. Dude, thank you so much. Thank you, buddy. Please be sure to thank your gifted subber. I was just scrolling and happened to catch it. Yo, happy September. We're catching the last day of happy September. Thank you, man. Thank you. Dude, thank you so much, Heisenballs. That was so kind of you. I was just scrolling, and all of a sudden I saw 5 gifted subs. I was like, what? Thank you. No way I will fly 6K. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, again, I if anything, we hope to at least, see you virtually somehow. I don't know. Been sick with the flu. Oh, dang. I hope you feel better, buddy. I wanted to, but they waited too long about their COVID policies. Yeah, they did kind of drag their feet on that one. Wasn't too happy about that. Yeah, I totally know what you're talking about there. Gurdenblin, I don't know how to say your name. I tried. Yeltra, Fluffy Pecker, Malicious Cereal, and Yo Nix. Please be sure to thank your gifted subber, Heisenballs. They are kind enough to make sure you're stuck with me for another month. Doesn't Podman come with a Docker wrapper anyways? Yes, it does. It does. NeoVim is paying Tej to make Vim 9 JI. Wait, what? Seriously? That's cool. Am I using? Is that real? Are you being serious? I don't know if I should trust you, chat. I always trust chat, and I always am hurt by it. So yeah. All right. Listen, everybody who's rating, I appreciate you guys. I want to get back to the Nix stuff here because we do have a lot of people who are sitting here wanting to learn more about Nix as well. We are going through something called the Nix Pills series. This is a series that is designed to help you, from the term of the Matrix, go down the rabbit hole and fully adopt the Nix way of life or the Nix lifestyle. So if you are curious, please be sure to check out the link I just posted in chat. Really, this is just a series of articles and things like that that have been written by people in the Nix community that kind of helps you take a step-by-step approach to Nix. And it's not massive, right? It's something that we can really easily digest and continue going through. We just talked about how package managers kind of normally work. Just so you know, we do have a YouTube. We have two YouTubes. Technically, our first YouTube is something that we're still growing, still working on. This is all more focused on curated content, stuff we don't do on stream, essentially. However, the second link is where all of our VOD goes. This is the Alta 4 archives and all that stuff. So if you ever miss anything, don't forget you can go to those channels and check out, anything. But before you guys got here, we were talking about why you should give Nix a try. This is the first pill we're taking. And we're talking about really how a lot of package managers are not really purely functional, right? They don't do things like enable you to install multiple versions of a package. You can't install, Node 7 or Node 14 and Node 16 side by side without needing a tool for that. Or, you can't install MySQL or other things like that side by side without, being able to have tools or other things like that, essentially. Oh my God, dude. I'm getting hold on. I think I know why I'm getting spam calls. Just 1 second. What are you running this on? Do ! OS in chat. Hold on. I disabled my spam call thing, and now I'm getting constantly phone called. I hate it. There we go. Thank you again so much for the gifted subs, guys. Thank you for the hype train. Everybody who got a gifted sub, please be sure to thank your gifter. Speedy Astro, hello. Well, Tej Say is getting paid anyway if he is oh wow, well, that's cool, man. I had a Google engineer come in and tell him to rewrite Vim 9. Okay, that's interesting. Nice shirt, my dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yes, I this was a gift. Thank you. Sorry for my typing. Oh, you're fine. All right, so let's keep moving forward. So like I said, we're first focusing on the package manager side of things, right? And if you use something like DPKG, RPM, whatever, right? If you ever try installing two versions of something, you can't, right? And maybe those things have dependencies that also require specific versions of things, and then that becomes challenging, right? A very common way of solving this is literally what I just showed you, containerizing things, right? We decided to take that approach with LSP containers, which made it so that, again, you guys can basically run either Podman, LSP containers. You can either run Podman or Docker, right? They'll download the images for you, run it in the background, bam, bam, boom, you got your LSP, no problem, right? With Nix, it's pretty much the exact same thing, except for you don't need any of the Docker side of things. The package manager is able to understand dependencies and separate them and have proper dependency trees that are isolated and all of that. But what we really just went through before you guys got here was just exemplifying what not being purely functional in a package manager means and the downsides to it, right? It allows you to install packages, sure, very simply, things like that. But again, you're going to have them installed to simple paths, user bin, whatever, right? You're not going to be able to have variants of those. They're not really managed well any other way, right? So let's get into the being purely functional side. And I'm just gonna start over just because we were only like two, whatever. Anyways, we were very, very started to it. Okay, how about Ansible support? So Amber, I actually did a YouTube video on how to automate your dot files with Ansible. And I do think that gives like a good idea from an Ansible perspective, but with Nix, you really wouldn't run, like Nix does the same thing as well. It knows how to build and configure if it needs to. So ideally you would just use Nix. There's no really need for Ansible in that, there's no real need for that. Yeah. Yeah. As Cran said, NixOS and Home Manager itself is Ansible basically. Yeah. My first approach is, basically, if you don't have Nix, I show you how to do it with Ansible, because the way I show you how to do it with Ansible, in my opinion, is probably the best way to do it if you're not using Nix. It's very easy. Like the way I show you how to it's a good tutorial. I highly recommend it. It's our most popular video yet. So yeah. Here's Crans to shill. Of course, man. Of course. Can Ansible revert? No, it cannot. That's another difference between something like Ansible and Nix. Nix has what are called derivations, and they're basically different build, what are they called? Generations. And I can actually go to a previous generation, which is a previous build, and move forward or move back, things like that. You can't really do that with Ansible. Okay, so we talked about not being purely functional as a package manager. Again, can't do things like install multiple versions of things. Can't, make sure that those versions then have their dependencies properly. You can't really mix stacks very easily. It becomes very challenging, right? So let's talk about being purely functional, right? Nix makes no assumptions about the global state of the system. In the sense of a normal package manager, it installs to bin, bash, or whatever, right? Nix says, yeah, I don't care about any of that. I'm not even, I am not going to think about the operating system you put me on at all. As a matter of fact, even with Nix, it technically, from a Nix store perspective, does not do that, right? This has many advantages, but also some drawbacks, of course. The core of a Nix system is the Nix store, usually installed under /nix/store, and some tools to manipulate the store. And this is true. If I do ls-lah or alh, Nix store, bam, bam, boom, there's my store. And I can do things like, Nix store --help. And you can see that I have a CLI tool that helps me manage the Nix store, right? Don't get ahead, Cran. Don't get ahead. In Nix, there's the notion, and this is very important. This is very important. In Nix, there is the notion of a derivation rather than a package. And we were just talking about this before you guys got here, right? So in a normal package manager like apt, get, install, PostgreSQL, right? That is a package. Well, in Nix, derivations are essentially packages. So what does that mean, chat? That means that every single one of these things in my store, right, is essentially a package and or derivation or a different build of something that I have installed or used at some point, right? So that's basically the first big difference between, something like Nix and a normal package manager is Nix looks at these as derivations, but they are that's how it delivers packages essentially as derivations. The difference can be subtle at the beginning, so I will often use the words interchangeably. And that's very true. I'm trying to use the word derivation more often than package because it's not just a package. There's much more to that. But when we talk about what problem are you trying to solve, you get a package out of it. You basically get that expectation of a package or something out of it. Derivations/packages are stored in the Nix store as follows. Nix store hashname, where the hash uniquely identifies the derivation, right? So if we go back to my store really quickly, we look down here at the bottom, you're going to notice that if we do, again, ls/lah, that we have this hash, right? Then we have the name of the piece of software, right? And then the version.drv. That is that derivation that we talked about. These are, you can kind of think of these as like .dpkg, right? Or other packages, right? Now there's folders as well that are with these, sometimes at least. But the main thing to note here is that these derivations are what we're like actually installing essentially, or we're actually building and using. And the name is the name of the derivation, right? So let's take a bash derivation for an example, right? Now when we say bash, we mean the literal binary bash, right? We want to see what a bash package or bash derivation looks like from a folder structure level. And so if we look at it, we'll see that it says Nix store, right? S4 ZIA, blah, 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 bash 4.2. And then in this directory, there is a directory that contains bin and bash. And guess what, chat? This is the binary that gets ran or executed when you try and run bash from your command line. So if you do bash like this, it will actually do, like where is bash or where is bash? It's right here. See that? System path bin bash. So this is what we mean by derivations. There is a version that is sitting in our store somewhere, and then when we want to use a specific version, that version then becomes available to us via Nix. What this means is that there is no bin bash, which is also true, and that there's only the self-contained build output in the store. That's literally what I just explained, right? There is no actual ls-alh bin bash. Like if I do this, there's nothing there. I have no bin bash. But when I do where is bin bash, right, we can actually see it's sitting in my store. That same goes for core utils and everything else. Basically, anything that is built as a derivation exists in that store, right? To make them convenient to use to the shell, Nix will arrange for binaries to appear in your path as appropriate. And so if I do echo path, you'll see that it knows how to set up my path in a way that I have access to all the binaries I need for my specific, environment. In fact, there's no LD config cache either. So where does bash find libc? Well, if we wanted to, we could say LDD which bash, and you'll see that bash, when it is compiled, is even compiled with the dependencies from the store. This is what it meant before when it said you might be able to install two different versions of a package, right? Like, I don't know, some binary. But if that binary then depends on lower level libraries, well, how do you make sure that those lower level libraries are also appropriately built with it or linked to it properly, right? And so if we go back to the article, what we have is basically a store of all packages with different versions occupying different locations, and everything in the Nix store is immutable, right? When bash was built, in this case, it was built against that specific version of glib in the Nix store. And at runtime, it will run with that exact same version of glib that exists in the Nix store that it was built with. Now, we talked about caching a little bit earlier, which was a little bit of ahead of where we're at right now, but we basically said that caching is tree-based, right? So if there's an active node in a tree, then it won't be purged from our garbage collector. Sorry, our garbage collector, not our cache, our garbage collector. What this means is that as long as I am using this bash version and I do a garbage collect, right, this will make sure that all of this garbage collection is dependency tree-wise completely taken care of. Right? So if I try doing a garbage collection, it's also going to make sure that it doesn't get rid of any of these libs that it needs, because these are a part of that dependency tree for bash. That's just a little bit of a spoiler, but Nix also handles that. Is this going to be on YouTube? So yes, this is going to be on YouTube in 2 different ways. The first way that it's going to be on YouTube is after we finish this whole series, I'm going to make like a very short, probably 10 to 15 minute video encapsulating all of it so that you guys can get like a much bigger understanding of it all. However, also subscribe to the Alta 4 Stream YouTube. Thanks. The second one is when we have just tons of stuff here, this is all of our actual VODs. So if you subscribe, and there is actual differences here. You'll notice at the top, this is the Alta 4 Stream. This is the Alta 4 Archives. So the archives are where all of our VODs go. So if you ever want to catch any of our VODs, like somebody came in here earlier and was like, hey, what about centralized uploads? And I told them, well, if you go to the wiki, right, then you go to technical design documents, you can see that we created a tech design around this. And if you go to the archives and you scroll down a bit, you should actually see that we have a, where is it? Centralized logging technical design VOD. So we do try and put as much as we can, out there for you guys. And with this, it's going to be a much smaller video for, again, the main YouTube video. And it'll be like, all the long versions will be on YouTube or the archives. Is Nix content? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm literally working on it right now, Whisper. Yes. Yeah. I'm curious if Nix pills will talk about running in a Nix pipeline. I believe they will in some regards. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And like, I'm going to be real with you guys. If you guys are interested, like, I am trying to create a home base for us. Now, obviously, there are home bases, and I'm in actually both of them. The real like home bases for Nix are on the Matrix, right? They have official chats and all of that stuff, as well as the discourse, which I'm in both of these, by the way. I'm officially in both of these now. Cran, just so you know, I'm in both of these now. But if you're not in either of those and you are more of like a Discord person, we are building a Nix community. That means you guys can lean on us, ask questions, get involved, work on projects with each other. And we also have a section in here for asking questions specifically. So if you have questions about Nix, like we had somebody ask about development, it was a really good discussion. And somebody, or Pick even was like, I haven't done this before. It makes isolating done like Docker like this. I'll read up on previous surprise. This is interesting. This is literally something we were talking about right now, which is installing multiple versions of stuff. So yeah, if you guys are interested, please be sure to check out all of that. Yeah. There's also a nice, there is a nice Discord for them as well. Yeah. Do you use Nix on the server /Docker? You can. You absolutely can. Yeah, you absolutely can. Mm-hmm. You mean ask Crans for help? Well, I mean, just drop it in the ask section. To be honest with you, I think Cran can even kind of attest to this. Like, I've been answering more questions for people lately. Like, I am slowly getting more comfortable with my confidence to where I'm even slowly starting to consider opening PRs and stuff. But I need more. I need to get in more. You know what I mean? I need to get in more. Using Nix to build your Docker containers result in super... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Bard. Exactly. Yeah. Looking forward to the YouTube VOD. Gonna head to bed later. Yo, thank you, buddy. Have a good rest of your evening. Thank you for being here. The Bard, Kevin. I appreciate you, man. Again, thank you for the support, dude, as well. Yeah, thanks, man. Seriously. Thank you. Have a good rest of your night. Yeah, Nix has been booming in the Discord, but in the beginning it felt like Crans was up 24 hours. It was. No, Cran, and seriously, real talk, Cran has been a massive help to the community. Cran, Max, and a couple others, like they've been super helpful, as well as like our new, I think Phil, as well as somebody who's new, but also been like super helpful. Like we really have some people who know Nix. Like there's some, yeah, there's some pretty knowledgeable people in there. Yeah, I'm mentally unhinged. No. You're just passionate about what you do, and I understand that, but. Well, we're going to focus that passion. Okay, let's keep moving. So don't be confused by the version in the derivation name. It's only a name for us humans, right? You may end up having two derivations with the same name but different hashes. It's the hash that matters, right? And that's another thing to be very clear here is if we look back at our list, we could have two ACL 2.3.1s. But their hash is the actual differentiator that matters here. The version is just like something that we can kind of know about. You know what I mean? Flying across continent in 2 weeks to impact. Yeah, I want to go to a NixCon. I really do. I'm gonna try. I know that like you gave me information about it, or one of them. I want to see if I can try going to one though. I would really like to go to a NixCon. That'd be fun. What does this all mean? It means that you could run MySQL 5.2 with glib 2.18 and MySQL 5.5 with glibc 2.19. You could use your Python module with Python 2.4 compiled with GCC 4.6, and then the same Python module with Python 3 compiled with GCC 4.8, all in the same system. Chat, listen to what I just said to you. It means that you could run MySQL 5.2 with glibc 2.18 built into its binary, while also being able to run MySQL 5.5 with glibc 2.19 built into its binary, while also being able to use your Python module that you're writing with Python 2.7, which is GCC compiled with 4.6, while also being able to run a different version of Python that is compiled with GCC 4.8, all in the same system. You tell me how easy that is on Ubuntu. Yeah, you tell me how easy that is on Ubuntu. I'm gonna be real, it's not. In other words, no dependency hell. We can have nice things. I love it. Not even a dependency resolution algorithm. Straight dependencies from derivations to other derivations. From an administrator's point of view, if you want to add, if you want an old PHP version from one application, but you want to upgrade the rest of the system, it's not a problem anymore. From a developer's point of view, if you want to develop WebKit with LLVM 3.4 and 3.3, that's not painful anymore either. Because Nix knows how to build everything with the proper dependencies, storing it in the store, and then referencing those in the store, keeping them when they need to, which enables us to run all these different versions as well as all these different dependencies side by side. Nix is pretty amazing. Nix is pretty amazing. I definitely agree. What browser is this? This is Firefox. All right, let's talk about mutable versus immutable. Before I go into this, give me a 1 in chat on how many people know what mutable versus immutable actually is. Be honest, okay? It's okay, but give me a 1 in chat if you actually know what immutable versus immutable is. I'll explain it to you in a second regardless. I just want to see how many of us know the true difference. Spent too much time with Rust, no. 1 and you won't change my mind. Okay, so I can say this as somebody who's also worked with mutable versus immutable. I love the fact that you guys are all like kind of got like PTSD around it. Because you really do. After like it's a very, like, if you don't know programming or you're new to programming and like how systems work in general and stuff like that, it's just a very interesting concept to first wrap your head around. And even like when I first getting my head around immutability versus mutability, I was like, wait, so it never changes? Like how the does that work? You know what I mean? Okay, cool. All right, so let's get into mutable versus immutable. The TLDR on what it actually means. To mutate something is to change it. To make something immutable is to make it so that it can never be changed. It means that you have to create a new generation. Maybe it's like, slightly a common word here, generation, derivation, stuff like that. But you need to generate a new version of those changes. That's what immutability is. Just write Haskell and you'll know. Yo, Norvalis, I'm going to be real with you, dude. I'm about to jump into Haskell. I am. I'm super interested in it. I don't care if that makes it sound like, I'll never see the light of day again, because it seems very cool. But yeah, no, I'm very interested in Haskell. Yeah. What is even DevOps? What even is DevOps sysadmins that can code? I mean, dude, listen, I've said this like a billion times. We even talked about this earlier because like somebody put a post like just before. I don't know if I can find it here. Let me try pulling up Twitter again. It was like it was a promoted post too, dude. It wasn't even like a normal post. Oh, that's dope. I like that. Sorry, I got distracted. Is there? I really got to go back and like, I gotta look at Twitter today, but it would appear a lot of our friends have posted things. Hold on. Where is it? Come on, man. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, somebody on the internet posted a tweet basically saying like, DevOps is dead. Platform something or another is the new thing. And they're like, and then it's like, or so they say, right? And then like right after that, dude, I shit you not. Right after that, it says, check out the new blah blah, the new state of platform blah blah. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh dear God. So honestly, I don't really care what you call it. I know what it is. I'm very aware of what DevOps is. And if you're not, I think it's probably just because you haven't had enough experience in the area, and that's fine. Like, it's okay. It's a very, very diversified job. That's the easiest way to put it. You do a lot of different things. Browsing Twitter on stream. What a bold man. Why? What now? What's wrong with Twitter on stream? Oh. I mean, I'm gonna be real. Our Twitter is pretty dull in comparison to, I think, some others. So I think we're all right. It's all marketing now. It really is. Yeah, it really. They got it promoted through multiple people. Oh, geez. Haskell book. Oh, thank you. Yep, I think I have that one. Haskell is so great, but the ecosystem is yikes. So Norvalis, I think that's something I've become slightly passionate about. What is my opinion of X-Men? Wait, immutable, you don't get to be in the X-Men. No mutants. Nice, Omni. I like that one. That's a good one. First time I saw it was with CoreOS. Oh, immutability versus not. Okay. Yeah. I got you. Once the Nix pill or whatever was that Nix lang is a functional language, I was hooked. As FP programmer with zero dev experience, that made me think, yeah. No, I have noticed that functional programming is definitely a big part of DevOps, more than I even realized it was. So there's a lot of power to it. I'm still here. All right, Bart. Have a good one, dude. Have a good one, Kevin. Yeah, I appreciate you hanging out, buddy. All right, so let's keep moving forward. All right, so we've talked about immutability versus mutability. DevOps is a mindset. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I don't care what you call it. Just pay me what I'm deserved to be paid, and I know how to run flippity florb in your company. Like, whatever. DevOps is just using proofs for making system, and FP holds that tightly. Yeah, I see your point there. Yeah, I want to explore that more. Honestly, Jack, I want to explore that more. I do. Okay, mutable versus immutable. When upgrading a library, for example, most package managers replace it in place, right? All new applications run afterwards in the new library without being recompiled. After all, they all refer to dynamically. After all, they all refer dynamically to libc or libc6.so, right? So we don't need, like, why should we have to, rebuild it if it's already there from a package, from a mutable package manager's perspective. Since Nix derivations are immutable, upgrading a library like glibc means recompiling all applications because the glibc path to the Nix store has been hard-coded, right? We just did this. We just said that if we use LDD on bash, we can see these paths to these libraries, right? Well, these are hard-coded when the application bash is built, which means that in this case, because we use derivations that are immutable, right, we build a completely new version because it's hard-coded. If this changes for any reason, we have to rebuild that, right? So that's something that's also, like, think about this. This is a hash of a very unique version. All of these have unique hashes for this specific build. This is the granularity we're talking about when we talk about building with Nix, okay? So how do we deal with security updates? In Nix, we have some tricks, still pure, to solve this problem, but that's another story. So we're gonna do the security stuff later. Another problem is that unless software has in mind a pure functional model or can be adapted to it, it can be hard to compose applications at runtime. I want to be clear, this is one of the biggest hurdles Nix really has, because unfortunately, and I think this is why Cran and I, when we first started talking, bumped heads so much, because I'm a practical DevOps engineer, meaning that I look at the shelf that I have in front of me and I say like, okay, these are the tools that I have. Let me either build new tools or, whatever. Whereas when Cran kind of first hit the scene with our community and we started first getting into Nix, because he works with Nix as well as a bunch of other people who work with Nix, had a completely pure functional mindset behind how all of this stuff works, which is just straight up different than how other systems work. And so this is seriously, this is a problem that I'm trying to help you guys with and trying to help even myself with, because there are so many things out there that it would be, you're not an idiot. I mean, you're not an idiot. It's good to have goals and aspirations to get us there. The problem, and I don't want to say it's a problem, it's just it's a challenge with Nix, is the curve's like up here. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of bridges that get you to it. And so I really echo this heavily, and I love that Glam's like, Glam, I love that you're lurking, and then like that hits you, because he's right. Like it's a very hard line. It's a very hard line. And I've even bumped it where, when we talk about purely functional, for example, we're talking about like one of the big things that Nix really has a problem with, private packages. It does not like private packages. And like Cran and I have constantly, there you go. Yeah, here you go. The learning curves of popular operating systems. So here you go. Windows, Debian, Ubuntu, and Nix. So here's Windows right here, right? Debian, right? A bit more of a learning curve, right? And then we've got Ubuntu right here. And then here's Nix, right? You get up here and then, all of this happens. That's an old eval. Yeah, it is. But it's not wrong in the sense that you do feel this way after you do this. Never mind. I'll ask you later. But yeah, it did. I need this image. It's a good image. You might have spoiled one of my tweets, Cran. The truck is taking me out. Nice. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. So Cran, I'm gonna be real with you. I've already found this repository, and there's some good stuff in there. Arch is the y-axis. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's take Firefox, for example. One of the most popular, browsers. On most systems, you install Flash, and it starts working in Firefox because Firefox looks in a global path for plugins, right? Now, you might not need Flash, but Flash is just a good example here of like, you have a dependency of needing Firefox, but Firefox also has a dependency of needing Flash. In Nix, there's no such global path for plugins, right? So Firefox therefore must explicitly know about the path to Flash. The way we handle this problem is to wrap the Firefox binary so that we can set up the necessary environment to make it find Flash in the Nix store. This will produce a new Firefox derivation. Be aware that it will take a few seconds and makes composition harder at runtime, right? So because Firefox is not completely built purely, it has to like inherit naturally, right? Because we can't necessarily, I guess what I mean to say is from what this is saying, we can't hard code where Flash is, right? Like we can't hard code that in this case. So we actually have to build the whole environment in Nix and then like place it where it is in that environment where Firefox is then going to recognize that and be able to use it. Dude, I need a haircut. So anyways, that's the big difference here is that's what we mean by not truly pure. It just simply means that there are circumstances where we have to like wrap these binaries in order to get them work, because we cannot statically provide the dependencies as we normally would want to. There are no upgrade and downgrade scripts for your data, right? It doesn't make sense with this approach because there's no real derivation to be upgraded. With Nix, you switch to using other software with its own stack of dependencies. But there's no formal notion of an upgrade or a downgrade when doing so, right? So when somebody asked earlier the question on like, how do you upgrade with Nix? They're technically right. What you're really doing is you're just rebuilding it entirely, right? And then you get that new version with everything else with it. And if you want to use the previous version, you can. But if you want to use the new built version, you can as well, right? With Nix, if there is a data format change, then migrating the new data remains your own responsibility, right? Okay, so conclusion. Nix lets you compose software at build time with maximum flexibility and with builds being as reproducible as possible, right? We saw that with being able to see, not only Bash itself, right? Where is Bash, being in the Nix store, but we also saw that its dependencies are also even in the Nix store, right? That we're able to hard code other dependencies that are then built. Like, think about this, chat. If we're building Bash, we're also building libreadline, libhistory. Like, all of these are, everything in the stack gets built, right? Not only that, but due to its nature, nature deploying system, I would say it's natural deploying systems in the cloud, due to the nature of deploying systems in the cloud easily and consistent and reliably, that Nix world, all existing self-containment and orchestration tools are deprecated by NixOps. Wait, what? I don't understand that one. That's not only that due to Nix lets you compose software to reproduce. Not only that, due to its nature, deploying systems in the cloud is so easy. Oh, okay, I see. That's how they're trying saying. Okay, I get this now. A lot of weird pause breaks. Okay, not only that, due to its nature, deploying systems in the cloud is so easy, consistent, and reliable that in the Nix world, all existing self-containment and orchestration tools are deprecated by NixOps. And so it's basically saying that this tool is all you need to do all of your deployments and stuff like that. It, however, currently falls short when working with dynamic composition at runtime or replacing lower level libraries due to the need to rebuild dependencies. That may sound scary. However, after running NixOS on both server and desktop, I'm very satisfied so far. Some of the architectural problems that just need some manpower, other design problems still need to be solved as a community, which is very true. All of this is powered by the community. So it's really about what the community is trying to focus on and solve for. Considering Nix package is a completely new repository with all existing software, with a completely fresh concept and few core developers, but overall year-over-year increasing contribution, the current state is more than acceptable and beyond the experimental stage. In other words, it's worth your investment. And that is my like TLDR on it as well. For this first pill that we just we just took our first pill. I hope it was good. I hope you enjoyed your first Nix pill on why you should give it a try. But that is the first pill. And yeah, like I agree. I think we are at a point, at least now, to where you can start leaning on Nix. You can start using it in places, testing it out, seeing if you like it, stuff like that. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions about the first pill before we go to the next pill? Let's see what the next pill is. Install on your running operating system. Nix is three things, Tuna. Nix is a package manager designed to distribute packages. It is a language, a functional language designed to help you build those packages. And it is also an operating system that you can then optionally to install those packages on, as well as configure the operating system for those packages. It does not mean you need to use all three of them. You can use the language with the package manager. You can use the operating system and the package manager and the language. It depends on what you want to use. We are going through the Nix Pills series, like I said before. If you miss anything, I highly recommend subscribing to the YouTube The first one and the second one. Technically, the second one is the archives, though, where all of our VODs go. So this will be on YouTube if you miss anything. The second pill is an install tutorial, so just skip it. The third one uses NixEnv, which I would avoid. So yeah, I'm not gonna skip it. I'm gonna go through it pretty quickly. But yeah, we are like, I've already got it installed, so yeah, we'll just kind of go through this really quickly. I feel like deworming is, oh my god. No. I need a repo of Nix projects because I get it and I want to do it, but I don't have any purpose really as of yet. That's fair. That's fair. Hold on one second, chat. I gotta check my Slack, work Slack. Woo! I needed that. Okay. Let's go into the next pill. We're gonna take the second pill now. Installing and running on your operating system. Welcome to the second Nix pill. In the first pill, we briefly described Nix. So if you guys are curious about that first pill and its link, be sure to check out that little guy right there. What is the preferred way of installing NixOS on a VM or a machine if you already have a configuration Nix file from a previous installation? Do you generate Nix ISO? I guess the TLDR on that one's going to be that you're going to want to essentially install it to the operating system once. Like you're going to, yeah, you basically generate from the ISO and then apply your configuration. Or at least that's how I do it. Yeah. Or you can use a flake. A flake is something that you can, like, I guess no matter what, just generate the first one so you can get into the operating system and then regenerate and you're fine. Again, Nix is going to rebuild everything, so it doesn't really matter in this case. It'll get rid of all the stuff it doesn't need and it'll keep what it, what it does need. Okay, welcome to the second pill. In the first pill, we briefly described Nix. Now we'll install Nix on our operating system and understand what changed in our system after the installation. If you're using NixOS, Nix is already installed. You can skip to the next pill. So I am using NixOS. I am using NixOS. However, I am going to quickly go over this for anyone who's not using NixOS or who might be interested in giving it an installation, right? Installing Nix is actually very, very easy, just like as any other package, and it doesn't drastically change your system in any way. Again, it just really uses like one location as well as a couple others, and it installs a bunch of tools that it can use to manage that location. So to install Nix, you're basically going to do a curl-l install and then forward that to sh, right, as a non-root user, right, as a non-root user, and you're going to follow the instructions that it gives, right? So if you've ever installed any other type of binary off the internet using a shell script, this is essentially the exact same thing. You're downloading a shell script and then you're running it with shell. Instructions can be found here. So if you're curious about installing, there you go. There's more instructions there for you guys. The first thing to note is that derivations in the Nix store refer to other derivations which are themselves in the Nix store. They don't use libc from our system or anywhere else. It is a self-contained store of all the software we need to bootstrap any particular package. So when we install Nix, Nix does not try inheriting anything from your existing operating system. It doesn't want to try and use the libc that you have installed or any other things like that. It's going to download its own version of libc, and then it's going to, go check out our YouTube, Noxoc. I made a video on it. It's called Developing Using Nix Flakes. Go watch that. That'll help you. The beginning, and to be clear, Noxoc, I show you through the example of a project, but if you just get through the first part where I kind of set up the project, and I even say in the video, I'm just doing this. I have to show you with code of some sort, right? So I show you a complete setup, but I go into a lot more of what a flake actually is and how it works more than just talking about coding. And that's why I actually renamed it. It used to be like Python and Nix, and I was like, it's not really about Python. It's just really about how you use Nix flakes. The beginning, no worries. The beginnings of the Nix store. So starting looking at the output of the install command, you'll see copying Nix to Nix store, right? That's the Nix store we were talking about in the first article, right? We're copying in the necessary software to bootstrap a Nix system. You can see Bash, core utils, the C compiler toolchain, Perl libraries, SQLite, and Nix itself with its own tools and libnix, right? You may have noticed that the Nix store can contain or can contain not only directories, but also files, still always in the form of a hash. I believe specs is a thing, right? Oh, maybe specs isn't a thing. Oh, no, it's setup. My bad. There you go. Although that setup is old. Yeah, that setup is actually pretty old. Except for the stream setup at the bottom. This one is probably the most accurate descriptor of how all of our setup is, if you're looking from a computer perspective. The Nix database. Right after copying the store, the installation process initializes a database. Yes, Nix also has a database. It's stored under Nix var Nix DB. It's a SQLite database that keeps track of dependencies between derivations. I didn't know that. I'm gonna be real, I didn't even know that. The scheme is very simple, There's a table of valid paths mapping from an auto increment integer to a store path. There's a dependency relation from one path to paths upon which they depend. You can inspect the database by installing SQLite and then running SQL. Okay, so let's do it. So we're gonna say Nix shell SQLite. Oops. Right, so I'm gonna get SQLite. Did you mean, oh, too many L's. Okay, and then it says SQLite, or SQLite, if I could spell, 3, Nix var Nix db.sqlite. My gosh, hold on. Yeah, there it is. There we go. What is it? Is it just like LS? Oh, no. I don't remember how to do this. How do you like view data in SQLite? I forget. View tables. Oh, it's just tables. What? Is it? Am I like, what? Oh my God. What am I missing here? Listing all tables in a database. Oh, is it dot tables? Oh, maybe it's dot tables. Dot tables? Attempting to write to a read-only database. Oh, second, list all the tables from the database. Tables, patterns, tables. I don't know why this isn't working, but we can see that the database is there. It's more than likely because it's immutable. Why does listing try to write? I don't know. That's why I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's literally what I was thinking, Cran. Like, I do not know, but I don't got time to figure that out right now. Anyways, yes, that does have a database apparently, and you can connect to it, but apparently not do much else. Do you need it? No, I tried that. It's for some reason, it like when you read the list, it tries writing to it and it doesn't want to do it. Okay, so the first profile. Next in the installation, we encounter the concept of the profile. Now, I said this before earlier, I don't use profiles. So this is up to you if this is a concept that you are interested in using. But because I use NixOS, my profiles are my actual build generations. And that means when I restart my computer, I can essentially like click which generation I want. And that's enough for me. Like I don't really need other, like I don't need another abstraction of the concept of profiles, but you might like them. You know what I mean? A profile in Nix is a general and convenient concept for realizing rollbacks. Profiles are used to compose components that are spread among multiple paths under a new unified path. Not only that, but profiles are made up of multiple generations that are versioned. Whenever you change a profile, a new generation is created. And that's what I meant earlier when I say that, you know, those generations are essentially my profiles. I just use generations. Actually, NixOS Home Manager uses profiles in their core, just don't expose an API for it to do imperative states. Oh, does it really? That's hilarious. Well, I guess I use one profile then, or whatever Home Manager uses dynamically, I guess. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think you're right. I think I've seen the profile path for it, actually. I think I know what you're talking about. I guess what I mean to say is I don't use them outside of the normal, like, automation. I don't try creating my own, manual profiles. Not only that, but profiles are made. Oh, wait, I already read that. Generations can be switched and rolled back atomically, which makes them convenient for managing changes on your operating system. So again, the idea behind this is like you could have a profile that has a specific version of something in it, and then you can have a different profile that has a different version in it, and you can easily switch between those profiles to be able to have those different versions when you need them. So that Nix 213 derivation that we're seeing here, right? In the Nix store itself is Nix itself with binaries and libraries. The processing of installing the derivation in the profile basically reproduces the hierarchy of Nix 2.13 store derivation in the profile by means of symbolic links, right? Because we need it, it gets added to the profile. The contents of this profile are special because only one program has been installed in our profile. That's another thing, right? We just installed one thing in the dependencies that it has. Therefore, the bin directory points to only one program which has been installed, Nix itself, right? So Nix essentially in this case is the only program that is in this profile. But that's only the contents of the latest generation of our profile. In fact, Nix profile itself is a symbolic link to Nix var Nix profile's default. In turn, that's a symlink to default1.link in the same directory. Yes, that means it's the first generation of the default profile, right? So there's this concept of generations, and then your profile that you use, or your specific profile in that moment, is the specific generation of that profile, right? And then it is symlinked through that to the default and so forth and all, and whatever. And this is, I would assume, what Home Manager does underneath the hood is it basically manages the default profile for you and adds all of your packages to it and stuff like that. Nix packages expressions, more output from the installer, right? So Nix expressions are used to describe packages and how to build them. Nix packages is the repository containing all of these expressions. So in a RPM or a Debian package manager world, how many here know about repositories? Like, we know about repos, right? Like, repos are what we have our software sitting in, right? And we go like apt get update, and then like it goes out to the repo, and then like that's how it knows where to download it. Like, we're all, yeah, give me a 1 in chat if you know what I'm talking about. Like, we all know how repos work, right? Like a normal apt get repo, right? We're all aware that apt goes out on the internet, checks to see if it has the packages you're looking for, and says like, okay, I've got that package, download it from here. That is exactly what Nix expressions do. These aren't packages, but they are expressions, right? And so the idea is that if you go to Nix packages, and here's the link right here, right? You're going to see folders for like maintainers, NixOS, and then packages. If we click on packages, this is how NixOS has their packages organized based off of like applications, games, development, servers, shells. If I click on shells, guess what? Here's all of the shells that we have available in Nix, right? If I look at application, here's all the well, not all of the applications, but like all of the folders of applications that Nix, because again, there's just a folder of folders, right? Editors in this case. Look at editors, spacefim, like this is just editors. This whole folder is just editors. So when we say what a Nix expression is, it is essentially a way that we describe packages and how to build them. To give a better example, if I click on packages, we go to, let's go to something we know. Let's go to development. And then let's go to, hold on. No, let's go to, where did editors go? I just saw it. Applications, editors. Where is it? NeoVim. Default. This right here is literally the expression used to create a standard derivation, standard M derivation. We've been talking, now again, we're jumping really far ahead here, but I'm just trying to show you some terms that we've said, right? How they are being applied. And look, we are creating a standard M make derivation, and it's NeoVim. So this whole, like, if you're curious about what an expression looks like to something you're used to using, that is an expression of how they build NeoVim in Nix, and then how that is given to them or given to you as a derivation to use, right? The installer downloaded the package descriptions from commit A1A 2851. You chose a pretty complicated but diverse one. That's why I chose it, because it's something that we can all relate to. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's another thing to note here is that when it downloads the expressions, it's downloading them at one time. Now you've seen me probably do this often where like I go to my dot files and then I do like Nix flake update, right? What that does underneath the hood is it goes out and it downloads the newer version of Nix packages. So when we go to that concept of like how do you upgrade things in Nix, well, if you try installing something from Nix packages, you're only installing it from one given point in time, right? And as a matter of fact, anything that you install from Nix packages with this specific commit of A1A will only ever install those specific versions. That is part of the reproducibility, chat, because we can pin to the exact version of the package manager that we installed from. And that is something also that you cannot do with things like Debian or RPM. I can't, when I go to do an apt-get update, which would be cool, but I can't do something like apt-get install and then like, you know, hash version of packages from, you know, manager and then like, you know, bash, right? Like I can't do that. All I really do is just this, right? And then I just get like the latest version of bash, or I can install like a specific, you know, version of it. But if bash 01.1 becomes like, or it gets rebuilt for some reason, then it still isn't going to have that. I'm not going to get that previous version, right? I'm going to get the new version that was added to apt. This is what solves that problem. When we download Nix packages at this given commit, we're always going to install from that specific version. And then what we do is when we say, okay, I want a new set of packages, we update or we re-download the Nix expressions to a later commit. And then that is how we upgrade all of our packages. Your hair looks really nice today. Oh, thank you, Glam. I appreciate that, buddy. Dude, listen, I wish I could have the amazingly glorious locks that you do, my friend. Okay? That is a very sweet compliment coming from a man who literally, like, has fucking like rocker like hairstyle, dude. Like I only wish I had the fullness of your hair, my friend. So thank you. That's very kind. I also cannot grow hair that long. I cannot grow hair that long either. I wish I could. I try. I just poof. It just poofs for me. So does everyone understand what I said by biotin? Oh yeah, okay. I don't mean it like that, dog. I'm not thinning, okay? My hair reaches my lower back. Dang, that's also because you're, you know, a robot basically at this point, Cran. Does that make sense to a lot of people though? Does that like, again, when we install a package from the Nix package manager, until we tell it, hey, I want a new version of the Nix package manager itself, we're never going to get new versions of any other, like if I want to install Node by itself and I don't give it a version, I'm always going to get the exact same version from commit A1A 2851 because I haven't told Nix to download the new version and then get all of those new expressions, right? The second profile we discover is the channels profile. Nix defer exp channels points to Nix blah, 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 whatever, which points to blah, 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 which points to blah, 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 which points to a store directory containing the downloaded Nix expressions. right? So if we say that that's how NeoVim is built, right? If we say that this is how NeoVim is built, and we download this, right? What that means is that if I go, where is it? If I go, where did it say it was? Okay, so cd .nix defer xp channels. Well, I'm in channels root. So there you go. See NixOS. Look at this. Look, we're already referencing the store again. Look at this. Now if I go to NixOS, look at this. Doc, lib, maintainers, NixOS, packages. This looks really familiar. I wonder what this source code might look like. Oh, hey, docs. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Oh, I'm in NixOps. Whoops, my bad. Nix packages. Yeah, there we go. Doc, lib, maintainers. Doc, lib, maintainers. It's the literal cloned version. Like, this is what we install from, chat. We don't go out on the internet and download something. Well, I mean, if we need it, like, for example, if it got removed for some reason, we would download it. But it's always going to be the same version, right? So this is how you manage, like, upgrades and stuff like that in Nix is you don't upgrade the package per se. You upgrade the source where that package is being installed from, and then you get those new builds through it. That's why we say it's not technically a upgrade, right? We're just rebuilding with the new derivations. Don't worry about Nix expressions yet. We'll get to them later. Finally, for your convenience, the installer modified profile to automatically enter the Nix environment, right? So you might say, oh, well, that's great, BG, but like, how do I actually get into the Nix environment? Well, that is where Nix basically connects the dots. It says, all right, well, we're going to use the dot profile, and we're going to, when bash loads dot profile, it's going to load the Nix sh and all these other things. You don't update the package, you update the recipe to build an updated package. Exactly, yeah. I've noticed that many people have forked Nix packages. Are they using that somehow to also manage updating stuff? Yeah, it's usually open PRs. A lot of people will create new forked versions of it to do that. However, and this is a very common scenario for it as well, Justus, which is like TwinGate. They actually have a Nix packages as well. And it's literally just there for their package that they've created. It's a literal, but like they use this because this allows them to have their packages interopt with all of the other packages, and then they fork and they use this. So half of the time using PRs, other half of the time can be custom downstreams for, you know, their own, for your own projects and stuff like that. It really depends, but yeah, in the TwinGate example, they're actually like I'm not gonna let that one through, but Cran basically said they're dumb. Which, I mean, you're not wrong. Like, it would be better to merge it into the main one so that it is managed properly and stuff like that. Isn't it that a security nightmare? I mean, every package manager you have to trust in some sense. So here's the thing about that Mosquito Bang Bang. When it's a few actors, right? When it's a few actors, it's bad. I think so. When it's just like a couple of people managing it, like 5-10 people, like a small team, that's not bad. Nix packages has over 4,500 contributors. And no, although not all of these are very active per se, potentially, it has a very extenuous approval process for a lot of the things and how they, I was about to say, it basically just has really good moderation. They have really good process around testing. Yeah, exactly. Testing. There's automation set up. There's steps on how to do things. So I mean, better. Yeah, way better than AUR. Yes. Yeah. Honestly, you're kind of offending Nix packages by comparing it to AUR, which I know you don't know that, but that's why I'm saying what Cran basically. Yeah, like it's massively different. This is taken seriously, managed by people who take it seriously. And on top of it, another thing that's, is I think also very powerful about it is, and again, you're fine, buddy. You're totally fine. That's why I love sharing this kind of information. Another thing is that, like, I could go and contribute, but I would be checked the same way, which is nice. You know what I mean? So it's very opening in the sense that people can contribute, help grow, right? But at the same time, it is very well moderated, and like at least 4 or 5 people have to do approvals on it before it can get merged. But it isn't sandbox, so it isn't better to use. So isn't it better to use Flatpaks and snaps? But it isn't sandbox. What is particular? What do you mean? What exactly do you mean by sandbox? Because not for Ghost. One thing I want to be clear, and we talked about this a little earlier. I know you may have just gotten here, but in the previous pill that we were taking. It does rely on you to define like every dependency in the tree. This is about the functional side of it, right? And we talked about where, for example, when Firefox needs Flash, right? It inherits it on a global perspective, but Nix has no concept of global perspectives. So we wrap our application in Nix, and then we provide it with the static and specific, versions of things that we want. So from a security standpoint, it's not sandboxed. However, it's also strict. So I don't know. Like that's my argument to it, I guess, is it's entirely like you should never ever get a dependency you don't expect because you literally define your inputs, right? One of the reasons why you sandbox things are because you're kind of just like saying like, okay, it's all here and I trust this and we're good, right? But what we're doing in Nix is we're saying like, hey, these are all the things I trust. If you try downloading it and it doesn't match this checksum, right, which is really what it is at the end of the day, they're all checksums, then don't download it. Like it will kick, like it's checksum validated. So I don't know. Again, I don't know. That's all I can say. Yeah. I don't know if that helps or not from a security standpoint, but yeah. And again, technically, just to be fair, just to be fair, what was I going to say? Could help prevent a supply chain attack. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how security is terrifying when it comes to repositories, downstreams, upstreams. Like, I totally understand where you're coming from, not for Ghost. I just think that it's solved in such a different problem. Yeah. Cool, I appreciate that, Cran. Thank you, buddy. Okay, so conclusion. Nix lets you compose software at build time. Oh, wait, what? Oh, we're looking at the wrong thing. My bad. FAQ, can I change Nix to something else? So we've talked about this a lot. Like everything kind of exists in this /Nix directory, right? Like all of it kind of just lives in there. You can, but there is a good reason to keeping Nix instead of using a different directory. All of the derivations depend on other derivations using absolute paths. We saw in the first article that Bash referenced glibc under the specific absolute path in Nix store. You can see for yourself. Don't worry if you see multiple derivations, right? Keeping the store in Nix means we can grab the binary cache from NixOS, just like you grab packages from Debian mirrors, right? And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, right? So glibc would be installed under foo store. Thus, Bash would need to point to foo store instead of under Nix store. So the binary cache can't help because we need a different Bash, and so we'd have to recompile everything ourselves. After all, Nix is a sensible place for the Nix store. And I agree with that. I don't really think you need to move it per se. You know what I mean? I don't really think you need to. So the conclusion, we've installed Nix on our system, fully isolated and owned by the Nix user as we're still coming to terms with this new system, right? We've learned some new concepts like profiles and channels. In particular, with profiles, we're able to manage multiple generations of a composition of packages while other channels were able to download binaries from NixOS.org, right? The installation put everything under /nix and some symlinks in the Nix user home. That's because every end user is able to install and use software in their own environment, which is really powerful from a developer perspective. Yeah, I hope I left nothing uncovered so that you think there's some kind of magic or going on behind the scenes. It's all about putting components in the store and symlinking these components together, right? That is the real TLDR about how the Nix stores work, or how the Nix stores works. You put your components in the store, they get symlinked together, and the store is where all of your work happens, basically, or exists, right? It is an explanator, yeah. So basically, run Gen 2 if you want to put it somewhere. Thank you for the follow, Hit Squad. I appreciate that. All right, chat. So we got 2 pills down. We're going to go into the next one. Let's see how much time. All right, so we probably got time for like one more pill. Let's do this. Let's hop into the next pill, and let's hop into enter the environment. You ready, chat? Are you ready to enter the environment? Okay. Welcome to the 3rd Nix pill. By the way, for all of you who are still here getting through the first 2 Nix pills, you are mother all-stars. Seriously. Nix is a hard pill to gulp. And I really appreciate and I'm really excited about how many people are still so interested and find it fascinating. I feel the exact same way. So please be sure to join our Discord so we can talk about it. Because yeah, no, I really love the community we're trying to grow around it. I'm super excited about what you can do with Nix and kind of how we could potentially grow it. So yeah, you're a star. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Harry Peter. I appreciate that. Nix is easy. Just read this 300 pages. Yeah, see, okay, so you want to know something funny, chat? Be thankful that I'm introducing you to Nix and not Cran, okay? Otherwise, you could read the 281-page article on the purely functional software deployment model. You want to go through this? We can read this instead. You want to do that? That sounds like fun. Just read a whole acknowledgements page. Eventually, I probably will end up reading this thing, but yeah, no, I don't want to do this to you guys. I don't want to just hit you guys with the Nix thesis. Nix, dude, I'm not gonna lie, Nix, I might do that. That is actually something I would be super down to doing. Introduction, software deployment. That could be fun. Yeah, that would be funny. I'm not against doing that. That could actually be pretty fun. Okay, let's keep moving. So again, congratulations, you guys got your first 2 Nix pills swallowed. You did great. Let's go into our 3rd pill now. Welcome to the 3rd Nix pill. In the 2nd pill, we installed Nix on our operating system. Now we can finally play a little with these tools and also apply it to NixOS users, which I am. If you're using NixOS, you can skip this step and go to the next. So really quickly, if you're not using NixOS, in the previous article, we created a Nix user. So let's start by switching to it with su-nix or s-u or su-nix. If your profile got evaluated, then you should now be able to run commands like nixenv and whatever. If that's not the case, then run this command. So basically, if you installed Nix, close your shell, open up a new shell, you should be able to start using Nix commands. If you don't, then you're going to want to source the profile because for some reason it's not in your bash source or your bash profile. Install something. Okay, finally, something practical. Installation into the Nix environment is an interesting process. Let's install Hello, a simple CLI tool which prints Hello World and is mainly used to test compilers and package installations, right? Back to the installation. I got an email. Sorry about that. nixenv-i hello. Now, I want to be clear. I am not using nixenv, okay? So I am going to show you the way. Yeah, I'm not going to use nixenv. I'm going to show you the way I do it. The big difference between how I'm doing it and how nixenv works, essentially, is I'm just installing it to my current shell. If I close that shell, it's gone, right? And if I do a garbage collection on that shell, right, it will also garbage collect it, right? The reason why you use a profile is you want to create something that allows you to add it to an environment and then keep using that profile over and over and over, right? Kind of almost like a virtual env, right? So that's really like what a NixEnv is. Honestly, I think a good way of putting it or thinking about it is a NixEnv is essentially kind of like a virtual environment, right? It doesn't install the packages per se, like a virtual environment does, but it does set up like what you want in that environment, right? So in this case, if I was to do nixenv-i hello, I would be installing hello 2.10 to that environment, and then I could use it whenever I activate that environment. I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to do that. Mostly, or what I can do at least is I'll show you both ways, and the way I enjoy doing it first. So in their case, they say they want us to basically get the package hello. In a NixEnv scenario, again, that's going to be like this, nixenv-i hello. And I think if I run this, I think it's going to generate me an environment. Because I don't have one, so it's probably going to create me one. You think so? All right, I'll stop it then. NixEnv. Let me just delete it really quickly. Okay, it didn't do anything. Let me just do a quick garbage collect. I stopped it. Yeah, it didn't create it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the non-NixEnv approach just because, again, I don't have it set up. I really don't think it's, I don't think it's, you know, a good approach. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add hello to my current shell. And the way to do that is nix space shell nix packages, which is where I'm going to get it from, and then I'm going to do hello. Now, when I do that, look at what's happening. Look at what's happening, chat. It's evaluating the derivation, right? We said in the last pill that when we install something, we install it from that Nix packages expressions library, right? So what does that mean? It means that when I ran Nix packages hello, it went to that expressions repo, right? Found hello, built it, and then put it in my shell, right? So let's see here. We're on this one. Again, the only, Inexpensive, thank you for the 6 months, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for those Bezos buckies. Thank you. So in this case, again, we're really just trying to install it to an environment versus just my current shell. If I do hello, look at that. I have a hello world, right? So if I open up a new shell and I do hello, you'll notice that it's not there. If I was using profiles, it would still be there, right? Because it would be my activated profile, right? So in this case, like I said, I'm just not using environments. I'm just simply adding it to the shell as I need it, and then I can run it once that's been added to my shell, right? So things to notice. We installed software as a user and only for the Nix user. So this is specific to NixEnv, right? And this is technically specific to me as well, but it's really just specific to this shell, right? Because again, in this case, we didn't really install it for the user. We literally just installed it for this one shell that we're running right now. Now, it exists in the store so that, for example, if I was like, you know what? I want to exit out, and then I want to get hello again, I get it instantly, right? Because we've already evaluated it. We've already downloaded it. We've already compiled it. And we already know that that's the version that we want to get. So if I do hello again, I just get hello world, right? So again, these are all specific to NixEnv, which is it then creates a new user environment, which is a new generation. It manages those environments with NixEnv, and then it installs hello minus the version, right? Again, this is a little bit more than like what I need. If you're talking about just normal development with Nix, I think that either, like Cran said, of doing Nix run or doing Nix shell is a much more like quicker ad hoc way of doing these things. There are other ways that we have, and again, I'm not saying you shouldn't mess with profile or environment NixEnv. I'm simply saying that there's value to them and there's other things that we can use to solve like getting our packages in our shells for specific, like, you know, things we're making and stuff like that. Monkey type. All right, we can do a monkey type really quick. Okay. I need to be clear. I am not as fast as Tej. Okay. No! Let me go back. Let me go back. Oh, no! I hate that. I hate that so much. I hate that so much that it does that. I don't know what it was. It's because I'm typing so fast. I'm trying to type up to the last character, and sometimes it's like R, and R reloads it. I have no idea what that one was, but that one felt really good. Yeah, see, I don't feel good about that one now. Dang it! Okay, here we go. We got this. Okay, I'm pissed. Oh, no. Nope, I'm done. You had your chance. I'm not doing it again. It was good, though. Ah, dude, I can't do that. Oh, my God, this is frustrating. Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Okay, this is frustrating. Okay, I'm not doing good right now. What is going on with my freaking typing? How did I just type so great and now I'm just doing terribly? Oh my goodness. All right, there. Jeez. Yo, All Winter, thank you for the 10 months, man. I appreciate that. Sorry that I was getting slightly frustrated there. Go, Grandpa, go. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It only took me 3 freaking times. Holy crap. All in Winter. Oh, dude. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs, man. I love the fact that you came in. You're like, hey, I'm just going to resub really quickly. Hi, Eric. And then you hit me with a 10 gifter. Dude, thank you. Dude. Thank you so much, man. Again, you have been such a great support to not just our community, but so many other communities. Thank you, man. You literally are keeping our lights on. So thank you, thank you. Aussie Boy, Dirk, Haplo, Windward, Flying Wookie, Deja, Bruno, Francisco, I think, and Catalyst. Please be sure. Yeah, that's $50, by the way, Chad. If you guys do not know, that's $50. They just came in here and were kind enough to give $50. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well, All in Winter. Hope all is well with you. And again, please be sure to thank your gifted subber. Please be sure to thank your gifted subber. I'm also not very good at typing today, so I apologize if that was a disappointment. Okay. So again, we don't have any generations. If I do Nix env like this, list generations, I don't have any generations. It's one of the reasons why, again, I don't really use it, is because I don't really care about using generations. What's up, Gabriel? How's it going? Again, All in Winter. Dude, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subbies, buddy. Thank you, thank you. You have no idea how much that means to us. Again, all of our community, anybody who supports us, you literally keep, I say this all the time because it is true, all of your guys' contributions goes right back into the stream. It's helping pay our cloud costs. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. Especially because we want to be able to start providing a better experience for a lot of the things that we're doing. And so it's one of the reasons why we've recently moved to the cloud more and put more stuff in the cloud and done other things like that, you know, created the wiki and moved to YouTube and all these other things. So we want you to know we are working really hard and we appreciate it. Thank you. When I look in here, I'm always afraid to see that I'll see a cool new tool that I'll have to test tomorrow. It's worth it. Well, if I can at least be your like tech corner for the day, I'm fine with it. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you again. Okay. So like I said, we don't have any generations here because I'm not using NixEnv. So when I actually, run hello, it's just in this shell. And then once I close this shell, as a matter of fact, once I exit it, you'll notice, look at this. This is what's interesting. If I do Nix shell like this, I actually get a completely new shell with hello in it, right? But if I just type in exit and then I do hello, gone, right? So again, I'm not installing it to an environment that has generations, that keeps that specific version in it. So because of that, we don't get generations and any of that other stuff. But in my opinion, it does make it a lot easier to maintain. And as you've probably been able to see in chat, a lot of people are kind of like not really on NixEnv anymore. So I did want to give you guys a good brief overview of that, kind of what NixEnv is and how it works. I hope that at least makes some sense. Does anyone have any questions about NixEnv before I move forward? Also, chat BG, this isn't going to change that I'm going to do it, but what is your opinion on building an HTTP server to handle OAuth with Bash and Netcat? Sure. I'll see you in like 5 years once we've reiterated on it 5 more times. Like if you want to build a car with stone and chisel, I guess, and it might work, but like, good God, no, I'm good. I'm personally good on that one. Find God, no such file directory. That's a good one. That's actually a good response. I like that response. That's a good response. So does anyone, again, before I move forward, does anyone have any questions about NixEnv, right? How it works, why we can use it, why we don't really use it, right? But essentially kind of like what, again, NixEnv is a profile-esque approach to having specific, binaries or things like that you need in your shell, and then being able to reactivate that environment whenever you need. Again, it's kind of like a virtual environment. So that's kind of how you can consider it. And as a matter of fact, that's also why, in my personal opinion, virtual environments aren't that great either. They're kind of a pain. So whatever. Okay, so we don't have any installed derivations. So if I do nixenv-q, we don't get anything. Like I said, we either have hello in our current shell, right? Or we add it back to our current shell. There's no profiles or anything like that. And whenever I need it, I just rely on the lazy loading, right? If I've already built it once and I try doing it again, it should fork it pretty much instantly, right? And that's how I do it. And I think that's what a lot of Nix users are getting more comfortable with, which is why I think the more common approach now is to actually, use just Nix shell or Nix run by itself and don't really worry about profiles or anything like that. You know what I mean? Yo, Dokase, how's it going? Hello. So let's get into the next step of the pill, path merging. At this point, you probably want to run a man to get some documentation, right? Yeah, packages break all the time yeah, they do. At this point, you probably want to run man to get some documentation. Even if you already have man system-wide version of Nix, you can install it and use it within Nix via the nixm-i, or as I've shown you, using Nix shell. So in their case, if I didn't have man for some reason, like man, right? Like if I couldn't use man, right? I could actually do Nix shell, Nix packages, man, and then it would evaluate, bring in man for me, and then I could now use man, right? So that's, again, that's another thing that's really nice is that, like, if you want to, have something locally that you could easily just, like, use, it's very, very convenient. Okay, so let's inspect this profile a bit. LS profile, if we look at it, we have bin, and then we have an etc that's going to a nix/etc. Now that's interesting. When only Nix 2.13 was installed, bin was symlinked to Nix 2.13. Now we've actually installed some things. Man, hello. It's a real directory, not a symlink, right? So in this case, if we look at bin, man is going to a man symlink, nixenv is going to a nixenv symlink, or nixenv symlink, and hello is going to a hello essentially directory. Okay, that's clear now. NixEnv merged the paths from the installation derivations, which man points to the Nix profile rather than the main system, because Nix profile bin is in the head of the path. The TLDR is basically they're able to merge paths like of things in your actual path based off of like what you have activated and what you don't have activated. At least that's what I'm getting from it. And that's how it makes it so that, for example, if we wanted to be able to get man pages on things in our current, I believe in our current environment, we could just have man that points to the Nix profile rather than the system man by installing it, right? Which is what we just did. Okay, so rolling back and switching generation. Now, again, this is more related to NixEnv, but this is also something that's just a key component of Nix, which is when we build things, we can also say like, okay, this is a generation, and then we can index it or add to the index every time we have a new generation, right? So in a NixEnv scenario, if I make a change to the environment, it creates a new generation. Right? Now, say if I make a change like Sin City just said that breaks something, right? Like just breaks it. Well, I can actually roll back my environment to the previous configuration or the previous generation, essentially. And this is another thing that's really, really nice about using NixEnvs, right? And yes, you can do the same thing with NixOS. But for example, that's one of the things I really can't do here. Right? If I'm doing Nix shell, Nix packages like this, there's no generations, there's no anything like that. I have to find other ways of being able to like, you know, achieve what I want. So the concept of a profile works really well with like rollbacks and stuff like that, because the profile is essentially that. It is a profile of what is everything supposed to look like, right? And then it can roll back or roll forward based off of the version of that profile. If we just use Nix shell like this, again, we're just literally grabbing it. So that's just kind of a way of seeing how one actually has a benefit versus the other and things like that. Even enough. Okay, and so yeah, you can see here we do rollback. Now Q does not list man anymore, right? Because we rolled back, man is no longer included. And the man should now be the system copy, right? Because that's what we had before. Enough with the rollback. Let's go back to the most recent generation. And so in this case, you can even you can roll forward is what it's called as well, where you say, okay, we're going to just go to the next generation to solve the problem. So let's roll forward. I invite you to read the man page on NixEnv. Again, this is up to you. If you're very interested in like how NixEnv works and all that stuff, feel free to check out, you know, what NixEnv is. I will say, as I said before, and why I didn't go too much into it, it is something that's kind of falling out of practice just because of how powerful the new CLI is and just being able to add things to your shell really quickly or utilize other things that we're going to talk about in the future, like flakes and things like that. So let's query the store. So far, we've learned how to query and manipulate the environment, but all of the environment components point to the store. To query and manipulate the store, there's a Nix store command. We can do some interesting things, but we'll only see a few queries for now. So to show the direct runtime dependencies of hello, we can say Nix store -q references, right, which hello. And we'll see here that in hello, right, we have glibc 2.35, right, and then we have hello 2.12. And these are the reverse printed dependencies essentially of, so it's like this is the lowest dependency and then this is hello, right? Was it what you expected? It turns out that our environments depend on hello. Yes, that means that the environments are in the store since they contain symlinks to hello. Now again, we're talking about environments here. In this case, we don't have an environment, so there's no other things, like see how they've got like env manifest, user environment, da da. We didn't add that to any of that, right? We just said, yeah, we'll just, just add it to my shell, right? And so because of that, we're just seeing the bare dependencies that are needed to load it into the shell, which is the symlink directly to the symlink directly to hello, which then hello depends on glibc. If your Nix had, yeah, exactly. If my configuration had hello in it as well, then my configuration would be in this path too. Two environments were listed, generation 2 and 3, since these are the ones that has hello installed to them. And again, that's exactly what we're saying with our configuration. If it was in our configuration, we would see that as well, right? The manifest.nix file contains metadata about the environment, such as the derivations that are installed, so that nixm can list, upgrade, or remove them. And yet again, the current manifest.nix can be found in the default profile manifest.nix, right? All right, closures. This is actually something a little bit newer to me. Or maybe not newer, but like, I don't know how often I've used the word closures with Nix. The closures of a derivation is a list of all its dependencies recursively, including absolutely everything necessary to use that derivation. So if we do nix store -qr which man right? This is the recursive tree for every dependency used to make man. Look at this. Look at all these dependencies, chat, just to make man. Software is fascinating. Like when you really start looking at software and like how, especially open source software that's just little pieces of little pieces of little pieces of things, you know what I mean? It's always fascinating to see. Like you would not think man would take this many dependencies, but it does. Copying all of those derivations to the Nix store of another machine makes you able to run man out of the box on that other machine, right? That's the best. That's the base of deployment using Nix. You can already foresee the potential when deploying software in the cloud. Hint: Nix copy closures and Nix store export. Wait, what? Are you serious right now? You could just essentially. I mean, that makes sense. It's a portable build that can go anywhere. So basically what they're saying, chat, is once you've built it once, like you can put it anywhere. As long as it knows where it is in the store and how the paths are symlinked. So like, that's cool. That'd be the chat. If you were to be like, hey BG, how would I deploy this to an operating system? Well, you would build it and then you would just do Nix copy. Like that's actually pretty crazy. That's pretty dope. That's pretty cool. A nicer view of the closure is nixq -- tree. Oh, nice. Yeah, and so this is where you can see like the real dependency tree of like the dependencies of the dependencies of the dependencies of the dependencies, right? When with the above command, you can find out exactly why a runtime dependency, be it direct or indirect, exists for a given duration, right? We'll look at that. Don't worry, Cran. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later, buddy. I have a feeling we're going to get to all this stuff eventually. The same applies to environment. I mean, I'll look at it later. Like I'll look at it, myself later. The same applies to environments. As an exercise, run store q Nix profile and see that the first children are direct dependencies of the user environment, the installed derivations, and the manifest.nix. So yeah, let's do that really quickly. So Nix store -q tree, and then we're going to do boop. Nix profile. Nice. Oh, I don't have a Nix profile. That's right. Yeah, I don't have a Nix profile, so that it won't make sense to me. But if I did, we would see all of those dependencies in the tree as well. Yo, post code to me. Hello. How's it going? So let's keep moving on. With the above command, you can find out exactly why a runtime dependency, be it indirect or direct, exists for a given derivation. The same applies to environments. As an exercise... Oh, I already did that. Yep, sorry. What is the best way to learn Kotlin when I have no experience with Java? I'm going to lean on chat for that one. I'm not too sure. I don't write Kotlin or Java, so unfortunately, I am not a great help. Post code to me. What I can also say, dude, is we have a great community in our Discord full of Java, and like I know for a fact that our moderator writes in Java. So if you want to, you're also welcome to ask in our Discord, and one of our moderators will definitely answer it for you as well. Yeah. Hi there, NixOS user for a few months, server, dev, laptop, and gaming desktop. It's really great. Well, hey, what is it? Spyrova? Hello. Thank you for hanging out. I'm glad to hear that. By the way, again, if you are interested in Nix, And I just put this in the chat, but I'm going to do it again. I really, really am passionate about trying to grow, especially not just a DevOps community, but also in that DevOps community, a Nix community. We have a lot of people who are interested in things around Nix, asking questions. Feel free to join our Discord. We have a main section here. So we have our Ask a Question section. While I've got all of you, I want you guys to understand how our Discord works. Most of our Discord is focused on helping people, right? We obviously have tons of conversations and things like that, but most of like the Alta 4 Discord is really meant to be used as like a knowledge base to help and communicate with people and grow with each other. So if you have questions, first off, I highly encourage you to ask them. You're not gonna look dumb. If anything, I'm going to be excited that you asked the question, that I can answer it for you, as well as our moderators and even other people in the community. So I highly recommend, if you have questions about DevOps, about Nix, about programming, whatever, utilize the forums that we've like just recently created and stuff. Outside of that, we also have our normal software development, I didn't even spell development right, channels that if you want to, ask a quick question or something like that, we've got a dedicated Nix channel, programming and DevOps too. So whether it be quick, whether it be, long, whatever, but really I do want you guys to know that like that's the purpose of our community and our Discord. So, and I have a 550-page book about Python next to me. Oh, geez. All right, so let's keep moving forward. So dependency resolution. There isn't anything like apt which solves a SAT problem in order to satisfy dependencies with lower and upper bounds on versions. There's no need for this because all dependencies are static. If a derivation X depends on a derivation Y, then it always depends on it. A version of X which depended on Z would be a different derivation, right? And that's why we say in Nix, we don't really have upgrades and downgrades. They're just changes, right? We have, like, sure, you can call it a version 2, blah, 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 but that's just for humans. That's just for us humans. In Nix, it doesn't care about actual versions like something like apt does or other languages because Nix solves that at a much lower level with hashes like we've already looked at, right? Right, I don't care. Okay, recovering the hard way. So nixm-e star, right? So oops, that uninstalled all derivations from the environment, including Nix. That means we can't even run nixenv now. What now, right? Previously, we got nixenv from the environment. Environments are a convenience for the user, but Nix is still in the store, right? I've already shown you guys this before where when I added hello, right? Or when I added hello to my shell, I could use it in my shell, right? But no matter what, when I used it over here and it wasn't here, it still existed in the store, right? And so that's what they're saying here is even if you delete something from the local profile or something like that, it will always be immutable in the store, right? And so if I do this, you're going to see that I have a bunch of Nix related things in the store. As a matter of fact, look at this. Nix 2.5 PR or pre 2020, whatever. So this is a pre-release, it looks like. But this is that. This is literally Nix right here, right? So we have two options. The first option is just to use nixm from the store to roll back, right? And like, I want to be clear, this is super powerful. Have you ever found yourself in a scenario where you accidentally deleted something, but you had to use that thing to get like what you needed done, right? And you go, oh crap, I just deleted it. I'm not done yet. And you go like, oh, I got to go. The store is immutable. It doesn't get rid of these things, right? So even if you accidentally purge it, until you do an actual garbage collection, a manual garbage collection, which is something we started this stream by doing, right? Then it's going to be in the store, meaning that it might sound kind of weird, but if you delete nixm locally, essentially, outside of the store, but you still have like the files and everything in place, right? You can still run it from the store and it can roll back just like it would if the binary was there locally, right? And so that is what they're doing here. The first option is to go directly to the binary in the store and roll back, right? Or create a whole new generation where you install NixEnv from the store, right? So you can either say, I'm going to roll back or I'm going to roll forward. And in the roll back, we just use the old version and then we get back to where we were. That's in the store. Or we use the NixEnv in the store to actually create a new NixEnv from the store. Because the store is, completely autonomous in that, or not autonomous, but completely separated in that regard, right? It's just a place where things go. So I hope that helps with understanding the power of keeping everything in one place and being like, okay, well, just because I delete it from my profile doesn't mean it's not in the store. Things don't get removed from the store until you actually garbage collect them, right? And we're going to talk about garbage collection more later. But for right now, that's just the main thing to notice is, and there's pros and cons to that, right? Like if you install a ton of things into your store, you might end up like, storing a lot of data. So that's why garbage collection is something we'll talk about later. Okay, channels. So we've talked about a few things. We've talked about dependency resolution, how to recover. Now we're going to talk about channels. So where are we getting the packages from, right? We installed hello, right? Just like we can now run it. And I did, Nix shell. But like, where is this? What is this, right? Like, what is this little prefix Nix packages, pound sign or whatever it's called. And then hello, right? Well, we said something about this already in the second article, and it's true. We already did. In the second pill, we talked about it when we install your system. There is a list of channels from which we get packages from, right? Although we use a single channel, the tool can manage multiple channels. Now, before we go too deep into this, channels are very similar to like repository variants, where you have like edge, right? You have main, you have stable. Is everybody on the same page with that? Like we're all on the same page with that, right? Like this is the equivalent of that with Nix. There's like Nix stable, there's Nix unstable, there's Nix whatever, right? These are our channels that we use. And I actually do have channels on my computer as well. As a matter, like you have to have a channel. You have to have at least one. So if I say Nix channel list, oh wait, my bad, because I'm using a flake. If I wasn't using a flake, you would have a channel list. I am using a flake. Maybe it's in sudo. Might be in sudo. Yeah, there you go. So you can see that on my sudo user, because I'm using a flake, it's not here, but on my sudo user, which is what actually, well, so Nix, to be one little spoiler, on NixOS, you have to run as sudo. Because if you want to change the operating system, that is a root requirement. So when we're talking about the system being changed, and needing that scoping, yeah. AS root, by the way, I don't know what that is. Or I might, and it's not clicking. What is the web browser? Firefox. Yeah, it's Firefox. Yeah, it's Firefox. What is it? Wait, why do I know that word, but like, why am I not connecting these two together? Oh, I see what you're saying. It just runs the process as a root user. Shut up, you nerd. Just let me run sudo like everyone else on the planet. All right. So anyways, if you're using NixOS, you may not see any output from the above command, right? Which was true. We did it without, and we don't see anything, right? Or you may see a channel whose name begins with NixOS dash or instead of Nix packages, right? Hey, don't insult. Shut up. It's sudo, but only handles switching to root and is 100 lines of C. I mean, okay, fair enough. That's essentially the contents of Nix.channels, right? It is not a symlink to the Nix store, right? If we look at that, ls-alh, Nix channels. It doesn't even exist for me. That's right, because I don't have it. But if it did, it's an actual file that has data in it. And similar to apt-get update, to update the channel, run Nix channel update. Right now, I've already talked to you about this, where in the second pill we said when we add a package when we actually download the Nix package's evaluations, we get it at a specific commit in time. So that whenever we install anything, we're always installing from that one specific commit. Meaning that if the package manager tomorrow didn't have or will have a package that it doesn't have today, I will never get that new package until I run Nix channel -- update, or until I update essentially the actual input. Once I do that and I tell it, no, I want you to use what is now today's SHA or changes, then I get that new package, or then I get that missing, binary that wasn't there before. This is the purpose of basically Nix channel update, and like what we're looking at here is we're saying we want to subscribe or use a specific channel of changes, Nix packages, unstable, whatever. But whenever we want to make sure we're getting the latest versions of that channel, we actually want to do a Nix channel update, which again is in fact very similar to apt-get update, right? Okay, so conclusion. We learned how to query the user environment and how to manipulate it by installing and uninstalling software. Upgrading software is also straightforward, as you can read it in the manual NixM-U, right? Every time we change the environment, a new generation is created. Switching between generations is easy and immediate. Then we learned how to query the store. We inspected the dependencies and reverse dependencies of store paths. We saw how symlinks are used to compose paths from the Nix store, a useful trick. And then a quick analogy with programming languages, okay? You have the heap with all of the objects that corresponds to the Nix store. You have objects that point to other objects. Those correspond to derivations. This is a suggestive metaphor, but will it be the right path? Okay, cool. So chat, there we go. We have finished our third pill. So if you are interested in what we have done today, we did our first pill, which is why you should give Nix a try. We did our second pill, which is installing on your running system. And then we did our third pill, which is enter the environment. So if you guys are curious in any of these, I'm going to copy these links and I'm going to give them to you right now. So there is our first pill. Here is our second pill. And here is then our third pill. Bam. So chat, when we stream again next week, which again, I want to be clear, TwitchCon next week, chat. TwitchCon next week. If you're going to be at TwitchCon next week, please join our Discord. Please join our Discord and subscribe to the TwitchCon role. Okay? If you go into server roles, you're going to see a TwitchCon role here. We've already got a bunch of people who've already added to it, right? Join the role or add yourself to the role so that you can get updates about TwitchCon, because we're going to be streaming a few days next week, but we're not going to be streaming all week just because, again, it will be TwitchCon. I hope I get to see you guys at TwitchCon. But yeah, next week we will start by picking up on the basics of the language. And as we've said before, with regards to Nix, Nix is not just one thing, right? It is three things. It is, if we go to the Trinity again, it is an operating system, it is a language, and it is a package manager. And all of these three things work together to make what is the Nix ecosystem. So we will be jumping into the basics of the language next stream. I'm going to go ahead and call it here, though, because we are literally at the 4-hour mark, and I got to get going. I got to go do some work, so it's literally the perfect time to end it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really, really appreciate it. Yo, Haplo, what is up, dude? I'm sorry, I'm ending this stream right now. Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't know if you were here or not. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you are new to our channel, be sure to check out this little blurb right here. Again, we are a co-hosted stream by my good friend Atoda as well as myself. I stream during the week. We are on the Pacific, or on the West Coast, basically. So I normally stream anywhere between 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. most mornings. I try and do Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Sometimes I got to do Tuesdays. Sometimes I got to do one a week. Sometimes I get to do 3 a week. It really just depends. So I really appreciate you guys always being open with the schedule and everything. Again, if you're also new to our community, please be sure to check out our Discord. That is where we grow in the off hours. If you ever have questions, anything like that, we're always here to help you. But also remember that we do also have our YouTube. So we have YouTube videos that we're putting out on the main channel, the Alta 4 stream. Please be sure to subscribe to that channel. What we're doing right now, to be candid, we are doing the research that I need to do to create the summary, very polished video that we're going to put on this page. So please be sure to check out that and subscribe to that channel. However, I can't always edit things right away because of how busy my life is. So if you want to catch things quicker, be sure to subscribe to the archives, the Alta 4 archives, which is the second link there. All of our VODs get uploaded. If you ever miss anything or anything, a lot of people use these. I was very surprised at how many people actually use the archives and the wiki and all of that stuff. So yes, we do try and get all this information out for you. Be sure to check out the wiki as well. If you guys don't know about the wiki, this is another place where we store information, whether it be technical design documents that I work on, any times where we have a lot of stream notes and stuff like that. I don't know why it's taking a second to load. But whenever I have stream notes and stuff like that, we put it in the Twitch stream section. We also have a section dedicated to DevOps and stuff like that. Again, not really too sure why it's taking this. It might be taking a second because all of you guys are now accessing it right now. Never mind, that makes sense. Give it a second. It's using something called Discourse, so I'm not too sure if maybe the load is freaking out right now. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So DevOps and infrastructure, technical documents, Twitch streams, a bunch of really cool stuff on there. Be sure to check all of that out. And again, check out our social too. we're on Twitter. So if you're ever interested, @reply, say hi, all that stuff. Discourse is pretty damn fast. Yes, it is. I think my connection was just lagging for a second there. I wish I was heading to TwitchCon next week. Any chance you're going to KubeCon in a few weeks? I'd love to. I don't think I'm going to because I didn't know it was in a few weeks. Although I would love to. So, all right, guys. Thank you again so much. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Let's go find somebody to raid. I hope you guys have a very fantastic rest of your day. I also want to say this. Do not forget, we have a stream tomorrow with Atoda. Atoda will be streaming tomorrow. And, yeah. So be sure to check that as well. All right, let's go find somebody to raid. I think we're going to go raid. Okay, I know exactly who we're going to go raid. We've raided this person once before. Please don't. What? Yes, it's Kubernetes. Yeah. Let's go raid Melody Dev. If you guys, if you guys don't know her, she's a new streamer in our community. Let's go say hi. Let's go give her some love. Guys, have a great rest of your day. I hope to see you tomorrow for a Toda stream. And if not, I better see you next week for learning some Nix language, all right? You better be here, chat, or you're going to miss out, all right? Have a good one. Love you guys. Bye.